Autumn, before we get started, because we're gonna go into this, we need to hear a quick message from our sponsors from Fanatics.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of sports apparel and jerseys from all over the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans from football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on the screen right now to celebrate your teams.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mic Check Take 2, brought to you by the InsideEdge Network. I am your host, the DAVID, the real Ruiz. And to my right, maybe your left, whatever side of the screen she's on, is everyone's favorite season, Autumn. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Instagram at InsideEdge.net and Mic Check Take 2. Autumn! What the hell did we just witness from our Cleveland Cavaliers?
I just want to say this. I'm looking into the camera. I'm looking at you, Double A.
I can see you. Look in our eyes.
Please stop putting me and David on. We are obviously...
We're cursed. We're cursed.
We are the curse. Me and David together. Now, me by myself, I don't know. But me and David together, please stop putting us on the show. When he texted us early and was like, I hope they win. When you guys go on, I knew we were going to lose. I knew it. As soon as he sent that next message, I knew we were going to lose. The Cavs, of course, fall to the Pistons 115-94. Series is now tied. We now have to go back to Detroit and win a Game 7 road playoff game against a young Pistons team. And let's just talk about it. Detroit was 52.4% from the field goal. They shot 16 of 36 from 3. They made 13 of 19 free throws. They had 43 total rebounds, 13 total offensive rebounds, 30 total defensive rebounds, 25 assists, 5 blocks, 9 steals. The Cavs turned it over 20 times. They scored 28 points off those turnovers, scored 14 fast break points, 48 points in the paint, and had 1.21 points per possession. Now, they were in personal foul trouble, but the largest lead of the game was 22 points. At one point, the Cavs, before half, cut it to just 3 points. And then, of course, they just couldn't catch up for the rest of the game, and they end up losing 115-94. Somehow, some way in this loss, though, you get the 3 people that you need to have good games from to have good games from. You had James Harden. Hold on, excuse me, hold on. My stats just went away. You had James Harden with 23, Donovan Mitchell with 18, Jared Allen with 13, and Evan Mobley with 18. So the 4 people that we needed to step up in the game actually stepped up in the game, but they just couldn't do anything in this game. And now we are on to a Game 7 in Detroit. So, David, what do you think?
This is really, really, really disheartening. The Cavaliers dropped their first home game since late March. We were on a 10-game home game winning streak going into this game. It was a big deal. I know a lot of people thought, you know what? We have this on lock. This is Cleveland. What's really, really tough is being a Cleveland fan and having to do Cleveland post-game coverage. And the reason behind that is, as I'm watching the game, it's not the same energy we had in Detroit. How the hell are you playing at home and not have the same I was almost going to give Max Strus his flowers this show. I was almost going to do it. Last game, game 5, you know who game 6, game 5. He reminded me of 2015 Matthew Dellavedova, the way he was running around the court, showing us energy, doing all the little things, had two key steals just for him to be non-existent game 6. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Jared Allen, I'm sorry. You had Duren in foul trouble. He steps out of the game for a little bit because he rolls his ankle. You think he's not going to come back, and he just bullies. He bullies Jared Allen. He bullies Evan Mobley, making them look small. You can say they had good games because you looked at their point totals, but looking how soft this team is at home, I hate the soft narrative. I hate to bring it up. I hate to call this team soft, but they're soft. They're Charmin. They're plush. They're the expensive pillow you buy to sleep well at night. What the hell are they doing, Autumn?
I don't know. And I'm looking at these Detroit stats right here. There is no way in hell that Detroit should have beat them. Even though Detroit does have, 6 players in double figures. Nobody scored over 25 points on Detroit. Everybody, their highest score was Cade Cunningham with 21.
That man didn't shoot a free throw until the fourth quarter.
What are we doing here? I think what's so disappointing about this team is that they take 3 steps forward, and then the next game they take 3 steps back. Like the OT game that they haven't been able to win in the playoffs on the road. They were 0-5 up to this point in the playoffs on the road, and
the crazy thing is we won. They shouldn't have won that game.
Oh, I know.
They shouldn't have won that game. Jared Allen tripped him. You seen it. I saw it. The fans saw it. Detroit saw it. Everyone saw it. That should have been 2 free throws at the end of the game with a tenth of the second left.
At this point,
we pull it out of their ass and they find a way to win. But this just shows that it drives me insane because even if we find a way to climb through and beat the Detroit Pistons in Detroit, which something we already have had a hard time doing is winning on the road the entire playoffs. How the hell are we going to win in the Garden? How are we going to win at Madison Square Garden? It's Madison Square Garden. How are we going to win at Madison Square Garden if we find a way past the Pistons? You can look. The New York Knicks already lead the season 2-1 on us this season. People can say that, we didn't have James Harden in these games, etc. But with the way Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are playing right now.
Thank you so much, Double A. We would like to not do this anymore. But I'm sorry to interrupt your point, David, but no. I don't want to keep talking about them. I've spent so much energy on this team. And like I said, they take 3 steps forward, somehow take 3 steps back to the next game. They find ways to lose. They barely find ways to win. I just think at this point, if they win or if they lose, I love them. I'll be there with you, but I cannot do it anymore. I can't watch this team anymore. It genuinely, it hurts me to watch them.
If Duren is putting the moves on Jared Allen and Mobley, if he's the one doing it, I get it. He's an all-star. I get it. How are they supposed to defend someone that can spread the floor and dominate from the mid-range and can score in the paint like Karl Anthony Towns? How are we supposed to defend that?
Honestly, I don't even know at this point. I'm just at a point with them where I'm like I saw the score and I was like, yep, that makes sense.
We can talk about the mental errors. We can talk about, like, for instance, in the first half, we had Dennis Schroeder in the game. I get a lot of the team was in foul trouble, but that doesn't matter. You have Dennis Schroeder in the game, back-to-back possessions. Dennis Schroeder has multiple dribbling violations. He had a double
They don't
dribble.
know how to dribble.
He
They
had
don't
a
know how
double
to
dribble
dribble.
and a travel in back-to-back possessions. That's 2 turnovers. Given what James Harden, last time I looked, he had 8 turnovers in the fourth quarter alone. He had 8 turnovers alone. Given that's, I preach about this because we know what we get from James Harden. We're gonna get the points. It's not even about dribbling. It's about being just flat out lazy and inconsistent. The lazy passing, the falling. You know, Detroit's gonna trap you. They excel in the trap. They excelled all year in the trap. Yeah, you let Donovan Mitchell get trapped, even on the offensive end. Towards the end of the game, you let Donovan Mitchell get trapped. No one's there to help. Jenkins is wide over in the corner, and Donovan Mitchell is the one that's in the trap that has to run out, close out, and try to defend the three from. How is he going to defend that perimeter shot? What is everyone else doing around him? It simply doesn't make sense.
Honestly, like I said, this team has just so many issues. There's so many problems. And if you do get over this Detroit hump, which I don't even know, man. I can't even predict what's going to happen next game. I just think I've talked about this. It's a mental thing with them. It's purely a mental thing with them. It's purely a mental thing of like they are their own worst enemy. And I'm going to tell you what it is. We talked about this over text message. It is still the remnants of a JB Bickerstaff team. I know we're like, oh, JB hasn't been the coach for the last couple seasons. No, for real, because I saw it in Detroit. I actually saw it within the Pistons on how they carry themselves, and I'm like, ooh, they need to be careful, because I remember when the Cavs started doing this, and it started to create not this bully ball thing, but it started to create this. Well, we got to whine about all these fouls because we're not getting foul calls. Or we should have won this, and we should have won that, and we should have won that. And it creates a mentality of not just entitlement, but it's just like, well, we need to do this. We need to have this. And like for the Cavs, it is still taking them like
Autumn
seasons later, almost 3 years later, to shake this off. Look,
oh my God. Usually I would agree with that. But the fact of the matter is, you can't blame JB for this team because we're losing to a JB team. We're losing to them.
I said,
it's one thing you can say there's remnants
too. No, you can see it in the Pistons too. The Pistons have this mentality of like they have a bit of a softness in there. Yes, they're bullying Evan Mobley like crazy and Jared Allen, but they picked up the bad JB Bickerstaff habits too. And if they're not careful, they can become the Cavs of right now. I'm just at a point where I'm like, honestly, I don't even want to give keys to the next game. I just genuinely think that if they somehow make it through, they gotta sit with themselves, and they really gotta sit down and be like, yo, we need to revamp everything, because there's no way that you can go into the next series playing the way you played. You cannot.
Look, one of the main things is, you can say the Cavs had 4 players in double-digit points, but really, what weight does that hold? What weight does that hold when
it's the only game all playoffs that I've seen 4 players? That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. Honestly, for real. You had the games that you needed to have from them, but you cannot play defense because Donovan doesn't play defense.
Donovan had what? He had 18.
Again,
no.
You have to have
consistent playoffs. This is the playoffs. If Donovan Mitchell, if he wants to get out of the second round for the first time in his career, I don't want to see an 18-point game from him. He has to. I've called him multiple times before. He's the 2-move bandit, and once they stop those 2 moves, that ridiculous windmill floater he does and the contested threes, once they stop that, he hasn't showed us anything. He hasn't opened up his mid-range game. He hasn't went to the basket and tried to draw the foul. He tries the same thing over and over. Draw the contact. Don't try to avoid the contact. Go into the contact. James Harden has consistently did that. James Harden, look, I know he had the 8 turnovers. I have no James Harden slander. And the reason behind The reason there's no James Harden slander is because this is who he is. This is who he's always been. He's always produced turnovers in the finals. He's always done this. Or not the finals, the playoffs. He's always done this. Regular season, postseason. The whole reason he was supposed to come here is because he was never supposed to be the number one.
No, he's supposed to be the number 2.
This playoff, he's been the number one. He's not supposed to be that. And when you have Donovan Mitchell playing second fiddle and he's sitting there basically watching the James Harden show, how are we supposed to get to the next step? James Harden is supposed to be the number 2 scorer. He's supposed to be number 2. Yet he's consistently the best player on the court.
Yeah.
Name a better player this series than James Harden.
You really can't. I would say James Harden is 1, and maybe Max Strus is 2, and even then, Max Strus
isn't even 2. He
had
one good game.
Like I said maybe. I didn't say stop jumping down my throat. I said maybe.
He's not even close to number 2.
I said maybe.
He's not even close to number 2.
Honestly, I'm done with the Cavs. If they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. Whatever. I'm done with them. I don't even want to get keys to the game. We know what they need to do to win. Like I said, after the last time we came on after a loss, I'm through saying the same things. Now let's get to other things. LeBron James was swept in the semifinals, and for the first time in his career, he will now be an unrestricted free agent. David, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think LeBron will somehow re-sign with the Lakers? Do you think he'll come back to the Cavs, or do you think he has finally decided, you know what, this is my last year, I'm gonna hang it up? Now, mind you, LeBron was the third option on his team at 41 years old, and still a much better player than a lot of these guys that's in the NBA right now. So what do you think?
Well, honestly, in the playoffs, LeBron was number 1 option. During the regular season, he was, until Luka got hurt against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the regular season, he may have been the number 2. Ever since then, he was the number 1 option. I've stated this previously on previous shows. His basketball IQ is still the best in the league. Not even close. When you're watching the Cavs game, or you're watching tonight, after the Cavs game, when you're watching the Spurs and you're watching the Timberwolves, it's really hard to compare anyone with that IQ. But doesn't matter what team you're watching. When I was watching the last series against the Rockets, it was obvious he was the best player on the court, even though Kevin Durant went down, etc. The things he was able to do and the decisions he was able to make is just eons above everyone else. And that's not bias. That's not me being a Cleveland fan. That's not me being a LeBron fan or thinking LeBron's the GOAT. At the end of the day, all you have to do is watch the film. Don't watch the highlights. The highlights are going to only show you the good things. Watch the film, because a lot of people get caught up in highlights with LeBron, but they fail to actually watch game-to-game situations. They either love LeBron for the highlights or hate him for his lowlights and come up with a bunch of different reasons on why LeBron's an issue or the GOAT. At the end of the day, it's his IQ. LeBron's going to continue in the league. There's no reason for him to retire right now. He's going to want to play with Bryce. He's still able to do it. He had the opportunity and has the opportunity to play with Bronny right now. And before this game, I really could see LeBron coming back to Cleveland. I could see that. Who's our 3? Who's our 3? We don't have a 3. We don't have a small forward. And when you watch the Cavs play right now with all the nonsense and the turnovers that they continuously produce game after game, possession after possession, when you have LeBron on that court, those turnovers find a way to subside. They find a way to go down. And that's all basketball IQ. He makes everyone else around him better. I really hope LeBron decides to come back to Cleveland next year. Whether we win or lose this series, in all reality, I've been saying this for the last 2 seasons. A small forward like him is the missing piece. Doesn't matter if it is LeBron, but we need a small forward that's able to be a playmaker and play off the ball. They're not going to be the number one. And it's the perfect situation for LeBron. He doesn't want to play number one. Cleveland needs a 3. Why not come home? Why not come for one more season?
Honestly, I think it would. I think it would make perfect sense. The Cavs are kind of set up in a way where you can just like plug him in, and then it would give them the extra jolt that they kind of need, that we see, of course, as we've talked about. But honestly, I think he's going to play for a couple more seasons. I give it 2 more seasons. LeBron is still in excellent shape. He is still a great basketball mind. He can still shoot. He doesn't have his legs under him like a lot of older players did around his age. He's hasn't had a lot of injury concerns in his career. He's only been hurt really twice really in his career, and both those times were with the Lakers. So I can see him actually coming back to Cleveland, kind of ending it here and kind of capping it. Also, I've been seeing somewhere, for some reason, everybody's like LeBron's longest tenure has been in LA. No, it's not. It's been in Cleveland. LeBron played 11 years in Cleveland. His first tenure was 7 years. His second tenure was 4 years. That's 11 years. He played 11 years. Like, I don't understand this. But no, for real, I could see him coming back here. I think he probably will end up either coming back here, or I don't really see him staying in LA. Honestly, I talked about this earlier on Jersey Chasers. The way that LA has kind of done him, to me, is like real crazy. Mm-hmm. That book that they put out that kind of exposed him as a faker and all these different things to try to make him look bad. And look, I was a LeBron fan as a young child. I sobbed in my grandmother's bedroom when the decision happened. No joke, like real tears. The way that he is talked about in LA is crazy. The way they talk about him in that city is crazy.
Well, look, LA can talk about LeBron as much as they want. He's won them a ring. And look, I hate to do this to you, Autumn. I hate to do this to you. But we know what LeBron's legacy is, and we're talking about him coming back to Cleveland. And for some reason, I just keep thinking about this Cavs game and how much it's driving me absolutely insane. And look, we can talk about how the narrative is going to spin, and it's going to be like, what's James Harden's legacy if he loses this series, and what kind of things we're going to see from him. But at the end of the day, in the last 2 games, Donovan Mitchell has shot 13 for 38 from the floor at 34.2%. He shot 3 for 14 from 3 at 21.4%. And he's at what, minus 29? It really, this isn't about James Harden's legacy. This isn't about if LeBron comes back, what's LeBron's legacy? It's about how the media is going to envision Donovan Mitchell. Not only the media, the fans, whether it's Utah, whether it's Cleveland, whether it's New York that wanted him so badly. If he doesn't make it out of the second round this year, what does that say for him? What does that say for the Cleveland Cavaliers? And what does that say for his career moving forward?
Honestly, with Donovan has long needed to prove himself, and we all know that this year had to be his year. It had to be his year. Last year, you were the number 1 seed. You didn't do much. You get knocked out in the second round. This year, they go out and get you another piece. They go out and get you James Harden. They get rid of Darius Garland, who everybody said that was the weak piece of the team because he couldn't stay healthy. So they go out and get you what you needed, because halfway through the season you guys weren't producing at the level that you were the year before, where you were an elite level team, and now we're in the playoffs again having these conversations about you again. And I think the biggest thing about Donovan is that I've said this at every game that they've lost. It's a mental thing with him. It is a mental thing with him. It is a thing that he has to overcome himself. It is not a talent thing. It's not a maybe I'm not good enough. It's purely a mental thing with him. And it's, as much as I love him, as much as I think he's a great ambassador for the city, I think he has to like, somebody has to come in and be like, Donovan, you're the guy, you're the man. Like somebody has to shake him and be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you know you're talented. And I think I'm also saying this. If you play long enough on a team that created bad habits, and then you go to another team and there's nobody else to fix those bad habits will continue. Remember when LeBron first came back and he was like so shell shocked about Kyrie and the way Kyrie was playing and the way Kyrie operated, and because he had to literally tell Kyrie, like, the way you operate is on the mindset of a bad team. If you're operating in the mindset of a bad team, if you're operating in the mindset of, well, I got to get through at least the first round, the second round, and you're constantly operating on that, you're not thinking in the right now, you're thinking ahead. And I think that's what this team is doing. I think they're constantly thinking in ahead. They're not thinking in the right now, because they're just like, oh, we can do whatever we want to. Like, we'll win this game. We've come back in every single game. We've tied it in every single game, which they have. They have made it close in every single game, but it's a mental thing with him. He spent his entire first half of his career in Utah, and they didn't correct shit in Utah.
Right.
They didn't do any, he didn't have anything, honestly, Utah was the one that created the bad habits, and then he comes here and he has a coach like JB Bickerstaff, which builds off the bad habits. And then last year he finally gets a coach that's like, okay, I'm going to challenge you on your bad habits, but then they kind of revert back to the bad habits. So it's a mental thing that he has to get over.
Real quick, Autumn, I just want to give the fans a quick update. The San Antonio Spurs at the end of the first lead the Minnesota Timberwolves 36-27 at the end of the first. Game's leading scorer, Stephon Castle, with 14 points. He's 3 from 3 from beyond the arc. And that's another series that's coming up, and another series that I'm scared to see who wins, seeing who comes out of the West, even though I think it's going to be OKC. But if the Cavs find a way to make it to the finals at the end of the day, and with the way how soft our bigs are playing, how are they supposed to get past someone like Wembanyama? I'm sorry. Honestly, I just wanted to give that update and give my opinion.
Don't even think ahead about them. Let's move on. Tonight was the first night of a long weekend in which the 2016 Cleveland Guardians were being honored. Tonight, Corey Kluber and Jan Gomes were the ceremonial first pitch. You had players like Jason Kipnis, Lonnie Chisenhall, Andrew Miller, Coco Crisp, just to name a few. Now, the Guardians did drop the first game of the Ohio Cup to the Reds 7-6. They actually came all the way back, but could not do it. But yes, it is the 2016 celebration of the Cleveland Guardians. And honestly, the Guardians are such a confusing team. They just swept the Angels. They've been kind of up and down all season, and then of course they just now lose to the Reds. Honestly, the Reds are a decent team. They're not a bad team. They play in a really good division. Tito Francona is their manager, so he was also honored. But it's just such a weird weekend, because like the Reds really had nothing to do with that year. They really were just kind of like I don't even know why they chose this weekend, but hey, they chose this weekend. But hold on, let me see who else. Yeah, it was Jason Kipnis, Coco Crisp, Lonnie Chisenhall, Brandon Geyer. Cody Allen is on play-by-play, so he of course was there. Yeah, and of course our favorite Cleveland Guardian, who was not on that team but is still constantly around Kenny Lofton was also at Game 6 tonight in Cleveland. So that's my Guardians update for you. There's nothing really else. Let's move on to the NFL schedule release videos. The NFL decided a few years ago that they were going to go all in on the schedule releases, and I'm gonna just drop a couple that I think were really, really cool and really innovative. Well, first off, let's just talk about this. The Browns have one, count that, one primetime game. They have a Thursday night football game. Everything else, 1 p.m. starts. What do you think about that, David?
I'm all right
no
with
Monday
it.
night football, like no Monday night football, no Sunday night football, all 1 o'clock and one Thursday night.
Look, I'm good with it. I want to watch good football that night. At the end of the day, I want to have primetime games. I looked over all of the primetime games earlier. I was a little confused with a couple teams that had a few of them. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers had a couple of games. That's not a Cleveland bias.
No,
I really like
Pittsburgh always gets.
Yeah, I really love the first primetime game of the season, which is, I believe, the season opener. That's the Patriots versus the Seahawks. That's going to be a really good game. We have the Chiefs a little later into the season having a couple primetime games, which we're going to see a lot of those going down the stretch because you know my opinion on the Kansas City Chiefs this year. We'll say that for another time. But looking over the Browns schedule, I believe they have the fourth easiest schedule. And I believe the Bengals have the third. I think the Jets are number 2. Oh man, I'm having a brain fire of who was number 1. But we should be able to string together some games. I'm really excited for the Browns December 13th game. December 13th, the Cleveland Browns play the Atlanta Falcons at Huntington Bank Field. Kevin Stefanski's return game. That's a huge deal to me. And I know a lot of people that I talk to, a few of the viewers watching, they know my take on Kevin Stefanski. They know their take on Kevin Stefanski. I'm one of the people that think Kevin Stefanski is going to do very well in Atlanta. Maybe not in Cleveland, but when you try to do the side-by-side comparison of our depth charts, let's just call it for what it is. Name a better receiver than Drake London on the Cleveland Browns. You can't name a better running back than Bijan Robinson. You can't. Even Kyle Pitts is Fannin better than Kyle Pitts? I don't know yet. I don't know. I think Kyle Pitts has been a product of the environment he was around. I think if he was on a different team in the last couple seasons, he would have been able to flourish faster. But I think there's going to be a lot of Cleveland fans disappointed come December 13th and how that game turns out. But overall, I think our schedule is relatively easy. I do agree with the statistics. Do you have the schedule pulled up yet?
I do not. Hold on. Let me. Well, first, let's. While we talk about that, let's talk about the actual. So the schedule release show is now a full spectacle because the NFL, of course, wants it to be a full spectacle, and now all the teams have to have a pointed schedule release video. I don't understand when this started happening, but it's a full release video. So let's go through the videos. Rick Ross was the Miami Dolphins narrator. The Patriots put their players on roller coasters and also had a doggy thing. The Jets, which was actually presented by JetBlue, did a bunch of paint mixing videos, with like ASMR. The Ravens had a wedding crasher, players wedding crashing. The Browns had one of the most innovative look, I'm not glazing them, but they really had a very innovative, like leaning heavy into their team having nerd culture schedule release. They parodied Street Fighter. They called it Street Fighter Klee, and they actually have Browns players as Street Fighter emotes, which was kind of cool. They set it in an arcade. They put the 90s filter over it. The Steelers had a boring one. Texans had a boring one.
Didn't a team go ahead?
The Indianapolis Colts actually got permission from the Simpsons.
Yeah, that's
and
what
used
I forgot.
A bunch of Simpsons memes and use a bunch of Simpsons characters, which is again very innovative. Where the hell are they getting this money? The Jacksonville Jaguars had Trevor Lawrence in, and they made him cut his hair. The Titans.
Wait. He cut his hair?
Mm-hmm. It's in their profile picture.
Oh my goodness, I did not see that.
Yeah.
Why would you make that man cut his hair?
Hey, whatever. The Tennessee Titans did their whole famous street interview thing that they did a couple years ago, and instead of it being like, "What do you think this team's name is?" They went up to people who they thought looked like famous people from those teams, and that's how they announced it. The Broncos did something with Peyton Manning. The Chiefs did a QVC parody and called it QV Chiefs. The Raiders did a Step Brothers parody with Kirk Cousins and Fernando. And then the Los Angeles Chargers, who's been knocking it out of the Chargers do so well on social media. They did an entire Halo themed NFL schedule release, like full Halo, like the whole thing.
Really?
Yes, like thinking you think it would be like Halo. The Giants had their players go to famous New York museums. The Philadelphia Eagles had a boardroom meeting, and it was Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and a lot of their offense. The Commanders, they had a science experiment. The Bears are the Bears. A lot of these were just really boring. I'm not even gonna lie. The Vikings had Chris Jericho in that stupid list.
Stupid.
Yes.
Autumn.
Absolutely.
Autumn.
100%. I hated it.
You just made the list.
Absolutely. I'll make that stupid ass list. And the Saints used former Today Show anchor Hoda Kotb. And honestly, some of these were just like, I'm bored. I'm bored out of my mind.
Look, I really like. I think
the Browns and the Colts and the Chargers knocked it out the park.
Yeah, so I know the Chargers actually took jabs at the 49ers during theirs. I know I questioned it when you were saying it, but then I remembered actually watching it. A lot of people don't know. My second team is the Chargers. Browns fan at heart, but I'm a huge Chargers fan. Been a fan of the Chargers since Phillip Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates. And honestly, that's a thanks to Madden, because I didn't watch Charger games when I was young. I didn't watch them. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But I used to play Madden. Madden 04, to be exact. On the GameCube. And I used to play as the Chargers. And I used to dominate as the Chargers. And that's the only team I could beat 04 Michael Vick with. So that's the team I decided to use, because any gamer knows if you played Madden and you played as Mike Vick in that time, he is the best Madden player of all time as a user. I'm sorry, Madden. I'm sorry, Autumn. I'm going off on a tangent about Madden.
Yes, you are.
I love Madden. Okay, I play Madden every day during football season. When it's not football season, it helps me get my fix. We have a little bit of the preseason schedule coming up.
Preseason doesn't matter. It's boring. Let me continue. We also have international games. Week 1, the 49ers and the Rams will be playing in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Week 3, the Ravens and the Cowboys will be playing in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Week 4, the Colts and Commanders will be playing, of course, in London. The Jaguars in week 5 will have their typical London game. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Jaguars play half the year in London for some reason. They'll also have another game against the Texans the week after that in week 6. Week 7, the Steelers will travel to France. It'll be the NFL's first game in France. They will play the Saints, which actually makes sense. I was like, why are they playing the Saints? And then I remembered that when I went to New Orleans last year, everything in New Orleans is French. Everything in that city is French. The Bengals 2 weeks later will be playing the Falcons in Madrid in Spain. The Patriots will play the Lions in Germany, and then to wrap it up in week 11, the Vikings will play the 49ers in Mexico.
What? I'm so sorry. What? Don't the Bengals play? The Bengals play in Spain, right?
Yes, they play in Madrid.
What's really cool about that is Joe Burrow requested that last season. And he's like, I want to play overseas. Hopefully he's healthy enough. He can say it all he wants, but he has to be healthy enough to play the game overseas. But they granted his wish. Why are you looking at me like that, Autumn?
Look, we've talked about Joe Burrow. We've talked about him enough. But again, this is from week 1 through 11 weeks of the NFL season. They will play in almost every major continent except for Asia. And I think next year we will have an Asia game. In 2027, I think we will have an Asia game. I think particularly we will have a South Korean game.
South Korea?
South Korea. And I'm going to tell you why it's going to be a South Korea game.
I need to hear it.
Okay, so also the Super Bowl was announced for February 14th. I'm so glad. Thank you so much, Super Bowl, for being on February 14th and not my birthday. I'm ecstatic. Thank you so much. So now I don't have to care.
Autumn, there's going to be a lot of disappointed girlfriends. People are going to have to reschedule Valentine's Day for like that Saturday.
Whatever.
Make a different game because we know Super Bowl Sunday, that's for the boys.
Anyway, the reason why I think we're going to have particularly a South Korea game in 2027 is because of who I think is going to play the Super Bowl halftime show in 2026. I think the NFL will go after BTS for the Super Bowl halftime show. BTS is the biggest touring group right now. They were just announced as the halftime performers along with Madonna and Shakira for the World Cup. They have the biggest album right now. They're literally touring in football stadiums. Like they're about to play Stanford this weekend. Last weekend they played in Mexico City. The weekend before they were at UTEP and played in El Paso. They did like 3 shows at Raymond James Stadium. Like they are very popular. And the NFL, the only market that they have not conquered is the Asian market. And BTS is there. Like
that's their end.
That's their end. So if they want to have, and then also I have to mention this because I really have gone on a South Korea tangent. South Korea is one of those countries where they like the branding of things. Like, for example, like UFC is big in South Korea, but not like the fighting, just the brand UFC. Like they sell clothes with UFC. They sell clothes with National Geographic and Jeep and all of that. And the NFL is the only entity that I don't see over there. The NBA is very big over there. MLB, humongous. MLB is humongous in South Korea. And I think the NFL, with having games in Europe, of course, Paris, Madrid, Germany, now Australia, I think they want to conquer Asia next, and South Korea.
I'm really curious about what teams because there's only a selected few organizations that have been going overseas.
Oh, I'll tell you who's gonna go. It's
no,
gonna be
not what teams are gonna go. What fan bases develop overseas? Because they create backgrounds. They're huge.
The Browns are huge overseas. They are humongous, particularly in Britain. I don't know what the hell happened in Britain, but they also embrace the Browns. I'm trying to think. From a lot of TikTok videos, ironically enough, I've seen a lot of Philly fans. Really crazy. A lot of Philly fans in South Korea.
I hate Philly fans.
They are an interesting bunch, but I think after the 2026 international games, I think they're gonna pick BTS as the headliners for the Super Bowl. Yes, BTS, that band for the Super Bowl, and I think that's going to be their leeway into being like, hey, South Korea, hey, we know the NBA's big over here, we know MLB's big over here, let's try the NFL, and they have enough stadiums to do it.
I don't want that for the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't.
BTS are great performers.
No.
You need to.
No.
They are immaculate performers.
Well, I want. Look, we've had Spanish. We've had hip hop.
You're Puerto Rican.
I'm not saying anything negative. Look, we've had. Look, hear me out. Hear me out.
BTS,
this is what I'm saying.
Look, BTS isn't just a South Korean.
I don't want to listen to K-pop. I don't want to listen to K-pop.
Hey, no knock until you try it.
Look,
I said the same thing.
Look, I don't watch the K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't want any of this. We've had Spanish, we've had hip hop, we've had country, we've had rock, we've had pop.
K-pop is the only one left, and K-pop.
No. There's two kinds of Super Bowl halftime shows I want to see. Number one on my list, okay? I want to see an emo night halftime show.
Oh, that's next. That's after K-pop.
No. I need that now. I need them to play Ohio's for Lovers. I need Pierce of the Veil. I need Blink 182.
You need a Fall Out Boy.
I need Fall Out Boy. I need all of it.
Green Day played the pre-show last year. They played pre-Super Bowl last year.
No, we don't want the pre-show. Make it mainstream.
I know.
And number two, because of this man's catalog of work.
I swear
he can perform. No, not Drake. Even though I wouldn't be opposed to a Drake halftime show. The man just dropped 3 albums, and there's some bangers on there already. Hey, you can love it or hate
ears it. Checked. I want you to get your
ears checked.
I've
heard it. It's Look, terrible. All summer long.
Don't listen to it, y'all.
Look, all summer long. Trust me. What are the 3 albums? One of them's Habibti, one of them's Iceman, and one of them's Maid of Honor. Put all 3 of those first letters together. What does that spell? Him. He is him. He came out, he dropped 3 albums in a day, and he's ready. He's ready to take over the summer. And he is. But no, the number 2 on my list, it's Chris Brown. Oh, look, it's Chris Brown. You're going to tell me you don't want a Chris Brown halftime show?
No, I'm going to tell you why.
Why not?
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to look y'all dead in the face. I was a huge Chris Brown fan as a young girl. At 10 years old, I discovered Chris Brown when he was just 15. At 18 years old, I was like, this shit all sounds the same. At 31, you can get Crash Bandicoot out of here. All right?
Crash Bandicoot?
That's how he fucking dances, like Crash Bandicoot. I'm gonna get back to the NFL. I don't even want to hear
Chris Brown. Look, you
get Crash Bandicoot.
You have
no. I'm gonna be real serious. The NFL would never pick him as a halftime show performer because he is a literal liability to like sponsors. Sponsors would not want to touch that.
What do you mean? They have literal convicted felons and killers in their leagues.
I know,
you think they care about who's doing the halftime show?
They actually do.
No, it's all in charge.
for the Super Bowl generates billions, not millions, billions of dollars for them.
No, absolutely not.
That would mess with sponsorship so bad.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Let me continue with the NFL release schedule. We also got the holiday release schedule. The NFL will have their first Thanksgiving Eve game on Wednesday, November 25th. It will be the Packers versus the Rams at 8 o'clock on Netflix Live. Then on Thanksgiving Day, you'll have the Bears at the Lions on CBS. You'll have Philly at Dallas on Fox Sports at 4:30, and to round it out, you'll have Kansas City at Buffalo on NBC. And then on Black Friday, the matchup and the network are going to be announced. On Christmas, you'll get Houston at Philly on Prime Video. On Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day, you'll get 3 games all on Netflix at 1, 4:30, and 8:15. And Netflix is probably going to do what they've done for the last couple of years and also do a big halftime show for the later game as well. But yeah, the NFL just kind of came out swinging. They really said, "Here we go."
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Now, before we get out of here, because me and you both have to get up for work in less than 7 hours. Let's talk about another Netflix event, a Netflix Live event, which is going to happen, and it's Ronda Rousey fighting Gina Carano in a MMA exhibition. It will be tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time at the Inuit Dome where the Clippers play, and it's a featherweight limit of 145 pounds, and it will be streaming on Netflix. Both these fighters have not fought in a very long time. Ronda Rousey had a 10-year hiatus after her retirement from the UFC, and Carano had a 17-year hiatus. Now, Gina is one of the pioneers of women's MMA. She famously got beat up by Chris Cyborg in a fight where she was talking a lot of shit before, and then of course Ronda famously also got beat up in a fight where she was talking a lot of shit before.
Yeah, she lost to Holly. She lost Holly Holm. Yep.
Now, Ronda Rousey is the betting favorite. She is a huge favorite because again, she's only been out of MMA for 10 years, and Gina has been out for 17 years. And of course, it actually features a large star-studded card of other fights. You have Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry and Francis Ngannou versus Felipe Lins. David, who do you think will win between a woman who's been out of commission for 17 years and been trying to make it as a Hollywood stunt woman and got fired because she's insane, and then a woman who was in professional wrestling for the last 10 years?
So for me, it really depends. Look, the keys to victory for both fighters they're simple. Carano, she has to keep the fight standing up. She's a way better striker than Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey can't box her way out of a paper bag. She's terrible. That's why we seen what Holly Holmes did with the stand-up and the kickboxing, the way Holly Holmes was establishing the jab early and able to keep her distance and Ronda wasn't able to take Holly down. I think we'll see Carano attempt a lot of that in the fight. That's Carano's key to victory. Stay off the ground. The difference is that Carano has a good ground and pound game. I know she lost to Chris Cyborg, but during that fight, I actually rewatched it the other day. Carano showed some glimpses on the ground, and if Ronda doesn't come in and take the fight to the ground immediately, it's going to be a long night for Ronda. She was exposed by Holly Holmes, and a lot of the things people can talk all they want. I hate how she says that she's the best female fighter of all time or the best female MMA fighter of all time when that's
Chris Cyborg literally exists. Like Chris Cyborg literally exists.
I'm talking about Ronda Rousey, but it's not even Chris Cyborg. Everybody's forgetting about Amanda. I'm saying
Amanda Serrano.
Yeah, Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
No, Nunes. Amanda
Um,
Serrano's she's the boxer. No, Nunes.
mm-hmm.
Nunes is best female fighter ever. There's a reason they all dodged her towards the end of her career. And you can't sit here and sit on Netflix and saying you're not going to call Carano a cunt and pull her hair because it's going to make it trashy. Those are words out of Ronda Rousey's mouth when the only thing you've been doing for the last 10 years is cutting promos. You're not going to sit there and cut a promo in a face-to-face.
Cutting terrible promos at that. Not even just terrible promos. She's awful at wrestling. I'm sorry.
Look, like, how dare you not be able to cut a promo in an MMA event when you've been practicing in professional wrestling for so long?
Well, she was more of a WWE vanity hire. Remember when she broke her hand during WrestleMania?
Oh man.
And then was wrestling is fake. It's so terrible. It's the worst. It's not even real. Girl, you broke your hand. Honestly, I'm interested to see who's gonna win. Gina has largely kept up her physique. Again, like I said, she's trying to be a Hollywood stunt woman, action star for the last 17 years. It really hasn't worked out for her. And of course, Ronda has kept up her stamina with being in both WWE and Ring of Honor, which I still don't understand why she was like professional wrestling was great for me. Who do you have in this fight?
Unfortunately, I think I have Ronda via submission. I think she's going to win via armbar. But if she can't win via armbar, and if they keep the fight standing up, Carano's she's gonna outbox her. She's gonna dominate standing up. We also, you mentioned before, we have Francis Ngannou making his MMA return. Previously, he decided he wanted to
be a boxer,
step into the boxing ring.
He got knocked the hell out.
Look, when I'm not bringing this up out of troll matters, but when Jake Paul does better against Anthony Joshua than you did, you need to reevaluate everything in your career. On top of that, the only reason he went to boxing is because he's a terrible person. Dana White and the UFC didn't want anything to do with him. They didn't want anything to do with him. So we'll see what ends up. He's hard hitting. Yeah, like Cleveland may hate him. He beat Stipe. Stipe beat him first anyway. I'm not excited for France. I actually think this is a terrible card for Netflix's first MMA fight. I think it's horrible. I'm really excited to see Nate Diaz, and that's only because the man talks a lot of shit.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Jake Paul, he has some crazy things this week. So just today, he claimed that a $200 million deal was reached with Canelo Alvarez, which I don't understand why he would want to get back in a boxing ring after his literal jaw got broke. He also claims that the TKO group banned him from WWE events. And then there was Alexander Usyk made a U-turn on a Jake Paul fight after entering negotiations on an MMA debut. That also came out today. And then there were reports from a video that he may not ever fight again due to the injuries that he sustained during that Anthony Joshua fight.
He got his jaw broken pretty badly.
Yeah, he's wearing a lace front wig on his face. He's literally wearing a fake beard. I'm not even making that up. He somebody literally put on TikTok that one of their friends was contacted personally by Jake Paul to put on a fake beard because they had to shave his beard when they had to fix his jaw.
I didn't see anything about that, Autumn.
Oh my God, that was a big story on TikTok. When I say that was a big story,
oh man, our algorithms must be completely different because my algorithms have nothing to do with lace front beards.
Yeah, he's wearing a fake beard.
Your beard grows back in 2 weeks. Why would he wear a lace front beard? That makes no sense.
Because he's stupid. Because he's Jake Paul. Like, he's dumb.
I think the haters are just gonna hate.
He's just dumb.
The man's goated.
In other news, before we get out of here, the WNBA approved and the Houston Comets will be coming back next year. The Houston Comets were literally the most winningest franchise up until the Las Vegas Aces. The Houston Comets won the first two WNBA titles. They also had Cheryl Swoops, who was the first woman to ever have her own shoe. Through Nike, we had a lot of good stuff going on. Aisha Wilson had a 45-point game tonight against the Connecticut Sun. I think they're moving soon. I forgot where they're moving. And of course, we all know Cleveland is bringing back their team. Detroit is bringing back their team. I hope they're going to be the Detroit Shock again. I hated when they became the Dallas Wings. It's really stupid. And then the Portland Fire, that's what their name is, the Portland Fire, and the Toronto Tempo made their WNBA debuts this month. And Toronto got their first win just a couple nights ago when Marina Mayberry went off and scored a buzzer beater. So, hey, we got a lot of sports going on. Chad, Bryan, and Eli will come in just a couple minutes. But David, any more thoughts?
We'll see. Look, I know you didn't want to do this, but we got to come full circle, Autumn. Oh we have to come full circle. And
let me guess, we're going to get keys to victory for next game.
We have to give the keys. Look, we got to give the fans what they want, Autumn. We can't sit here and pretend like they don't exist. They want to hear what you have to say. They know you're holding it back. They want to hear it. They want to hear the chaos.
Okay.
What are your keys to victory for the Cleveland Cavaliers? Game 7 in Detroit against the Detroit Pistons.
Honestly, I don't even know at this point. Every single game that they played, honestly, they've either let Detroit come back or they somehow figured out a way to win. I think the key to victory is just win the game. That's it. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about them anymore. They're just one of those teams where you're like, just win. Just win. I don't care if it's pretty. I don't care if it's ugly. Just win. That's it. What's your key?
My keys to the game are Donovan Mitchell has to produce more than 18 points. He has to take control of the game. He has to be the number one scorer. As much as I love James Harden taking command in these games and giving us 30-point games and being the leading scorer, that's not the recipe for success. We had tweets in the past about Evan Mobley's mom retweeting people saying that Donovan Mitchell has to take a backseat, but this isn't the Toronto series. In order for us to win the game, Donovan Mitchell needs to give us at least 25. Harden needs to give us at least 25, and we need a double-double from both of our bigs. This is game 7. This is the real deal. You've won once at home. Do not make stupid mistakes. Protect the ball. I know we've been talking about turnovers for a long time now. You need to protect the ball, make smart decisions, and it should be a relatively easy victory in Detroit if we can do that.
Yeah. Anything else? I'm gonna say one thing. If you like hockey romance, audience, and you want to see some decent hockey on screen, watch Off Campus on Amazon Prime. I just finished it. I liked it. It was actually cool. It's not like Heated Rivalry. Well, actually, there's a lot of butt. There's a lot of butt. But it's a romance. It's a romance.
You just said butt. All right, Autumn.
Any more things before Chad and Eli take over?
No, Chad and Eli are going to take over. They're going to have a great show here after Mic Check Take 2. I'm pretty sure they're going to continue with post-game coverage, let you guys know all the details and facts. Stay tuned. I'm really excited for their show. And again, make sure you like, share, subscribe, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, everything, whatever you want to call it. At
Twitch.
You like gaming? Do Twitch. Again, that's Mic Check Take 2 and InsideEdge.net. Stay tuned, everyone. Chad and Eli are coming right after this.
Bye guys.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams.
And welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your right. I am Eli Moon. Chad, we're rocking and rolling. A very, very sad day if you're a Cavaliers fan. As you can tell, I'm wearing my Denzel Ward jersey. Dusted it off because the Browns have not let me down this week. In fact, they've made us pretty happy. They released their schedule, and that's all they've really done this week, Chad. So we're not doing too bad there. First off, yeah, I forgot to unmute you because the Cavs just have me so upset, pal.
I muted myself. It wasn't even you.
Okay, I was like, he's muted again? I'm just very disappointed, pal. Let's just start there. I hope you're doing well, but I'd imagine you're not doing too hot after these Cavaliers. They fall in Cleveland, their first home loss of the season. And just a disappointing thing here because it's like, okay, this was the opportunity to get to your first Eastern Conference Finals berth, or Eastern Conference Finals, that is, since 2018. Mm-hmm. And they just looked uninspired the entire evening. I mean, I get it. They had a few moments here or there, but it just got out of hand, and the Cavs were never able to recover. I just don't understand. It seems like this team just loves making it difficult on them. You know, Game 7 against Toronto, you can't get it done in Game 6 in Toronto. So now the same thing, except for now you can't get it done in Cleveland. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Chad, what are your thoughts on this game?
I don't know. They just looked so tight the whole game. They looked, bothered and not at home. They looked like they were playing a road game. I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know if it's I don't know what it is. I mean, it wasn't really anything the Pistons did. Just like Double A sent us the tweet, man. It said, nobody beats the Cavs like the Cavs. They undo themselves, man. I mean, I'm looking at the stats, and I cannot believe that the Cavaliers had more offensive rebounds than the Pistons. I'll say that too. I can't believe they had more offensive rebounds than the Pistons. The Pistons only had 13 offensive rebounds, but they had them all on one series in the first quarter, right?
Yeah.
And it felt like I don't know. It's again the turnovers, and it's not even really the turnovers because the Pistons had a bunch of turnovers too. It's just what the Pistons are able to do with those turnovers versus what the Cavs are able to do with the turnovers, right? Cavs have 20 turnovers. The Pistons score 30 points off those turnovers. Pistons turn the ball over 17 times. The Cavs score 17 points. And it's not that big of a difference, but in a game that you lose by 11 points where you're probably the most talented team. Yeah, you're not the one seed. I get it. The Pistons are. But I think as far as top to bottom, talent on the rosters, I don't think the Pistons quite match up with the Cavs. And that's what's so frustrating about seeing them come out tight like that. I mean, you've got everything in your favor. You're playing at home. There's no reason to be nervous, right? You come out and you have fun. You play some basketball. You play your game, and you take care of business. But I think right now, maybe the Cavs don't know what their game is, Eli.
Yeah, you look at the two guys on the Detroit Pistons tonight that I've mentioned this entire series. You cannot let these guys have big games. I'm not going to say Duncan Robinson was a world beater tonight or anything like that, but he had 4 threes, crucial shots for the Detroit Pistons, got him going on those runs. And then you look at Jalen Duren. I mean, there's a lot of criticism. Man, Chad, if you were looking at social media and you typed in the words Jalen Duren, you typed in that name.
Oh, yeah.
It gets a little rough. Yeah. I mean, hopefully he was avoiding social media because people all the way from saying he lost $50 million on this performance alone for his next contract, that he shouldn't ask for the max. I mean, after an all NBA performance by Jalen Duren this past season, or the season we're currently in, you see most improved player candidate, all this stuff for Jalen Duren, but he struggled mightily in this Cavaliers series tonight. 15 points, 11 rebounds.
Yeah,
just you can't let these guys bully you around, and it just seems like the Cavaliers were getting bullied around at times. And yes, I understand. You look at the box score: 18 from Donovan Mitchell, 6 of 20. James Harden, 23 points, 6 of 13.
Yeah,
You just need more out of these guys. And I was listening, and we didn't get an opportunity to load in the postgame sound. We'll hope maybe try to get that in during this show. If not, maybe midnight run. You'll hear something that I thought was very telling. James Harden was asked, about the intensity. Him and Donovan Mitchell sitting up there in the postgame presser, and was asked about the intensity, and he said, "Yeah, we just never turned it up to the second gear." And they follow up. The question was, why was that? And he goes, "Yeah, I'm just not sure. We just never hit that second level, or it's disappointing. It's just, when do you want it, right? I mean, this is for James Harden. You haven't been to a conference finals. I want to say it's been 4 or 5 years, if not longer, for James Harden, and Donovan Mitchell's never been there. I don't know how much more it has to be for you guys to want to be there. You look at Donovan Mitchell a week ago. We're sitting here talking about him not feeling pressure.
Yeah.
And you go back to that.
Listen, those comments. What his point was, but to be fair, I understood what his point was, right?
Yeah.
He was trying to bring awareness to the fact that this is, after all, a child's game. I get it, right? But it's important at the same time. I mean, people are making millions of dollars.
We lost Chad for a moment here.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I mean, I
want to unload right there.
Yeah, you're good. It's just frustrating though. You look at these guys. You have Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, where their legacies are being talked about. You have Evan Mobley, who has been talked about in a lot of trade talks, in potential trade talks, and all the reports coming out. I don't think it's a coincidence that everything's coming out about Evan Mobley right now about, he would have been moved for Giannis. Would he be moved for Giannis? Yeah. I mean, that's a guy who's constantly being talked about. And then Jared Allen, we know the discussion about Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Are the lights too bright? And, you look at some of these box scores tonight. Jared Allen, I get it, 13 points, 8 rebounds. Evan Mobley, 18 points, 6 rebounds. But it just wasn't enough. When you're getting outscored off, you're giving up 115 points. It's not enough. Yeah. Those are that's a good regular season game. In the playoffs, the great teams elevate to where your 23 points for James Harden is 28. That extra 5. Donovan Mitchell isn't scoring under 20 points. And I just need more out of this entire core 4, core 3, Harden Island, whatever you want to call it. It's fair. Disappointing. You look at the role players for the Detroit Pistons outscored the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley tonight. I mean, by 9 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You can add up all the bench players and say, well, that's, 4 or 5 guys as opposed to 2. That should never happen. That should absolutely never happen.
Well,
it's just disappointing.
Yeah, and you brought up Duncan Robinson and Jalen Duren, and just 2 examples between them. Yeah, not world beaters, 29 points, but 0 turnovers, right, between the 2 of them as well. And I think that's where the difference lies. It's they're making plays, they're making shots, they're knocking down threes, they're doing what you want your role players to do, which is why they're there, which is why they're on the floor, right? We talked about Sam Merrill doing all the little things right. And I he didn't play badly, but it's just when you're not getting, what you expect from a group of players that you're going to call your core 4 or whatever, core more, because it's somebody new, whatever. I didn't mean to make up a new one. That was kind of dumb anyway, but I don't know, when you're not getting the contributions that you expect out of a guy like Donovan Mitchell or James Harden. I mean, James Harden with 8 more turnovers tonight. You know, and I know everything was fine in Game 5. They won on the road, but we talked about it. I want to say they were lucky, but they were very fortunate, Eli, to win that Game 5. They didn't really outplay Detroit. They outplayed them at the right time, right? They got hot down the stretch, and they were able to tie it up and head into – and it just – I don't know. It's the same problems, though. The same problems exist, and I really don't understand the lack of intensity or the lack of whatever. The second gear comment, I didn't hear that, to be honest with you, but hearing you say it, just picturing James Harden, I mean, you're a 17-year veteran. If you don't know by now how to – and really you've been here long enough if you're James Harden. You've been in Cleveland long enough. If you don't know how to get the best out of every single guy on that roster or the group as a whole or whatever it is, then I don't really know if I could ever consider you a leader. I mean, that's role player talk, right? Like, well, I don't know. I'm not sure why we couldn't crank it up. I mean, I don't expect to hear that from a guy like Donovan Mitchell or James Harden at this point. I mean, you're veterans. You should know how to not just to turn it up yourselves, but how to get the rest of the team to turn it up. I mean, different guys are different, right? Some guys need a little bit of encouragement to get going. Some guys need a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I mean, do what you have to do to get each and every single one of these guys ready from the opening tip, not midway through the third quarter or coming out of halftime or for a 5-minute stretch, you know, at the end of the game or whatever to tie it up and go into overtime. That's not what you need. You need 48 minutes of good, intense basketball, not a bunch of turnovers and a bunch of guys. I mean, Harden turned the ball over tonight and literally just turned around and watched everything happen. Was just like, oh, well, whatever, give up a bucket. And then I was like, okay, well, he's going to give up a bucket. Instead, he fouled, you know, I don't even remember who it was, honestly. I think it was, I don't know. Was it Asar Thompson? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But in the last second, he just like throws his forearm into his lower back. And I'm like, I get it. You're not going to take the guy out there. But at the same time, if you're not going to foul him and stop him from scoring, don't foul him. Just let him, whatever. Let him, you know, score a layup and try it again, man. Like, what was the point of that foul? It's just things like that are like, yeah, it's tic-tacky and it's probably – whatever, man. I'm nitpicking, but man, you can nitpick when you lose 115-94 in a game that again you could have won.
Yeah, and you look at this now from Dan Gilbert's standpoint, right? He's gonna load up another bus full of fans and send them back to Detroit. I mean, I'd imagine since he's done it for most of these road games against Detroit, if not all of them.
Cowboy 66 said road trip, right?
Your road trip indeed, kid Cowboy, and hopefully you're one of those fans that is on that bus because Dan Gilbert obviously wants to win. And that's what makes it so frustrating. You know, we talk about all the time, the Dolans, they don't want to spend money to win. And, you know, the Dolans did make a move. The Guardians did make a move, obviously, you know, acquiring one of the better catchers in baseball, Patrick Bailey. I get it. But the point still stands that when it comes to spending money, Dan Gilbert is not opposed to doing it and doing it wisely.
Yeah.
And you got to look at it from his standpoint. Okay, so I got to load up a whole nother bus or 4 or 5 buses of fans.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Detroit and hope that this team can win at Game 7. And if they don't, then he's tearing it down because Double A's brought it up on Midnight Run.
Yeah.
We've talked about it on this show. Why should Dan Gilbert continue to spend money on this team when they continue to give you the same result? It's ridiculous. It's like, let me give you a comparison like this, Chad.
Okay.
Say you're in the kitchen and you're cooking, right? I know you're a little bit better cook than I am, but so we'll say you're in the kitchen there. I'm gonna give you the nod. But you're in the kitchen, right? And you're like, Eli, I can make the best grilled cheese. You just have to get me the ingredients. And I go, all right, I'll go to the store. Boom, I go to the store, I come back, I get to the ingredients. You're making, I'm chilling. Oh no, Eli, I burnt the grilled cheese. Chad, that's okay. That happens from time to time. That's like, you know, a second round exit. You just burnt the grilled cheese. Yeah. So then you're like, I just need you to go back to the store. If you believe in me, I can do this. I
need more bread, need more cheese. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Exactly. And you're like, you know, you need a little additives or whatever. You need like
some butter, extra, like mayo on your bread.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Not mayo, okay, but butter.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, so then I go back to the store, right? And I'm like, okay, I got this. This is for my guy Chad. I'm gonna go ahead and back to the store. I go back to the store. I get the stuff for the grilled cheese. We come back. You cook it, you burn it. Even worse. It's an embarrassing burn this time because it's like somehow the grilled cheese is just crumbling, but it's still together a little bit. So you ask me one more time after a few more, like I'm going back and forth. I'm like, dude, I can't keep doing this. I go back. I get to the grilled cheese. You start making it. And now we're at the point with this grilled cheese. for everybody following along, and thank you for following this crazy ass analogy. Chad, you're at the point now where this grilled cheese,
throwing the cheese out the window because that's what the Cavs are doing right now.
it is burnt. It is burnt, and right now it's to the point where it's burnt to the point where there is no salvaging it. You know, you can sometimes salvage a burnt grilled cheese. This is so beyond the repair of salvaging that they're in trouble. Yeah. I just truly believe that they don't have the want, the care to go win a game 7. I hope they make me eat my words. But why? Why would we believe? Why would we fool ourselves? I know we're Cavaliers fans, but why would we fool ourselves into believing this team, Chad, can go win another game in Detroit? The big talk in game 5 was they can't win on the road. They have not won a road game this postseason. They did it. Everybody's like, sick. Now we can go win game 6, handle it at home, and worry about winning road games next round. But now you got to go win another one in Detroit.
Instead, you lose by 21 at home, by the way. Not just losing it, but 21. I mean, right now, so you're telling me the Cavs are headed to Detroit with no bread, no butter, no cheese, no spatula, no pan, no whatever, nothing to start the oven. The starter doesn't work. They have no matches. So do you think it's possible that if they lose this game 7, some of these players might be riding some of the fan buses back to Cleveland?
Chad, I'm telling you, bud. I'm telling you, and I want to pull this comment up here. Kid Cowboy says already won a 7-game series. That is correct. But also, and we appreciate you chiming in and sharing your thoughts. Thanks for being with us, Kid Cowboy. But I will tell you this. They won a 7-game series, but they only won all the games at home. They had a 4-3 swing in terms of having more home games than away games. It's a different talk this time around because they have to go win at least one in Detroit. And now because they've done this to themselves in game 6, they have to go win another one in Detroit. And it's
they haven't shown me that they have the heart to go do that either. I just don't expect that. It's crazy. It's not like I hope they come out. I don't expect them to come out on fire. I expect them to come out, the way they looked in game 6, timid, afraid to go to the rim almost. It's like Evan Mobley has these stretches where it looks like he's really focused and then he just goes away for a really long time. And I don't know what causes that. I don't know if it's like, some guys, when they get mad, they play a little better. They play with the chip on their shoulder or whatever. You saw, you saw Jalen Tyson do it the other night, right?
Yeah.
He got the Pistons all fired up or whatever. And Tobias Harris started scoring a bunch of points, whatever. But I don't trust them. I don't, in a game that means this much. And to be honest with you, let's be honest. Game 7 means way more than game 5, right? I know they won a game on the road. I get it. I watched it. But I just don't trust them to come out with all the chips on the table, everything on the line. I don't know who to turn to. Do you turn to James Harden, who turned the ball over 8 times tonight? Do you turn to Donovan Mitchell, who was 6 of 20 from the floor? And I'm looking at the numbers. I mean, do you turn to Evan Mobley, who has 12 to 14-minute stretches of really good basketball almost never consecutively during a game? He'll have like 3 really good minutes, and then he goes away, and then 2 or 3 really good minutes, and then he goes away. Do you turn to Jared Allen? I mean, Jared Allen, we've seen him in the regular season go off for 45 points and 22. Does he have one of those games in him? There's no reason to believe that we're going to see any of that. I'd love to. I hope we will. But, I mean, I just don't have a reason to say, yes, the Cavs have this. Don't worry about it. They got it. Game 7's in the back. I mean,
Chad, you can't fool yourself, and you cannot. Let me be very clear here. You cannot trust James Harden in a game 7. I want you to know, bro to bro. Yeah. I know he's a Cavalier, but I don't want you to do this to yourself. Do not go into game 7 hoping that James Harden is going to be the guy that leads us to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's not happening. I'm surprised he had the game he did tonight. Didn't shoot terrible from the floor. He was all right. I mean, the turnovers are always going to be there with James Harden. Tonight, tonight 8 turnovers, right? I mean, please don't do that to yourself. This comes down to one guy, the star of the team, the guy that we went out and got from Utah, Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. It comes down to Donovan Mitchell. It really comes down, exactly. It's his team. It comes down to him. This is, and I'm not over-exaggerating. I'm not overhyping it, anything like that.
Yeah.
And if you disagree, let me know. You can tell me in the comments. We'll pull it up on the screen if you disagree.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this right now, Chad. Game 7 in Detroit, Sunday, is going to be the most important game of Donovan Mitchell's Cavaliers career. It is the most important game because here's the reality. We keep talking about, well, is Evan Mobley going to be out this offseason if the Cavs can't get to where they're trying to get to, which is ultimately an NBA championship? Is Jared Allen going to be out if the Cavs can't do it? Is James Harden? What's the plan with James Harden? Is LeBron coming here? Is Giannis coming here? Here's the reality. Nobody talks about it. We've danced around it and talked about it at certain times. Yeah. But I'm just going to let everybody know. Donovan Mitchell is probably playing his last game on Sunday as a Cleveland Cavalier if they don't win that game. He is not going to be coming back next season. You can yell at me, scream at me, whatever. There already has been the links to New York. There's already been the link to almost any other city. He is being framed and talked about as one of these stars and faces of the league. And let's be honest, the league's not necessarily looking for one of the stars and faces of the league to be in Cleveland. So with all that being considered, with him not getting out of the second round, if they fall on their face on Sunday, Donovan Mitchell, more than likely, is out of Cleveland. I'm not going to sit here and say 100% because there's always a possibility they rework it around him. But the most value you can get out of any of these guys is going to be Donovan Mitchell. And if you're looking to retool it, reshape it real quick, that would be the way to do it. Of course, that's not going to keep James Harden here so you can see what happens with him. But this, for a lack of better words, is going to be a mess. It is going to be an absolute mess, and I don't know where you go from here if you lose in Game 7. I really don't.
The only acceptable teardown is if you end up trading enough people to bring Giannis in, right? Because if you start tearing it down, there's no way to trade for Giannis. That's not happening. LeBron's not coming back here. And if LeBron's not going to be the savior anyway. He's going to be a nice piece. He's in his 40s, man. Like, he's not going to be, 2016 LeBron James in the finals scoring, 40, 50 points, whatever. That's not going to happen, right? He might have a game like that every once in a while, but you can't, expect LeBron to come back here. And I don't think anybody expects this to happen, but you can't expect LeBron to come back here and the Cavs to put everything on his shoulders and him to just drag him to the finals again. That's not going to happen. No, it's got to be the right kind of team, right? And if we're talking about getting rid of Donovan Mitchell and James Harden and, not having enough capital to trade for Giannis and why would he want to come here, whatever, then LeBron's not coming back here either. And you might as well just tear the whole thing down and start over and just rebuild. Nobody wants to hear that. And, listen, we get enough rebuilds with the Browns, but retool, whatever you want to call it, the Cavs are going to be in the middle of it if they lose this Game 7. If they can't, and even it feels like even if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals and get swept or something by the Knicks, it feels like they're still in that same boat, right? Because they're still not competitive. They're not any closer to the finals really than they were. You get swept in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, I guess by definition, you're one step closer. But, you go out there and lose 4 games in a row to the Knicks, then you're not really closer than you were in the second round.
Yeah.
So, it's a mess right now. It feels like a mess again. We felt so good after Game 5, even though they didn't play that well. And I cautioned you. I said on the show, listen, they didn't play that well. But they found a way to win, and that's good. But there are still underlying issues, and they still have those issues going into Game 7.
And now the New York Knicks are just smiling as these two teams, the Cavaliers and Pistons, just continue to beat the heck out of each other. They are just smiling somewhere in New York City, waiting for whenever it is. But it will be, I believe, Tuesday. We'll wait for the official schedule to come out, and we'll have hopefully some post-game coverage for you coming up this upcoming week. We'll find out. Tonight might be one of the last times we're talking about Cavaliers post-game, which is sad to say, but Sunday night we'll have you covered. Main event, Robert Zicki, AA, and myself. We will be breaking down Game 7. Hopefully a win, but we'll be with you, win or lose, to talk about it. Of course, make sure you like, subscribe, follow at InsideEdge.net on all of the socials so you can stay locked in with everything we got going on, weekly and daily shows. Of course, you have Unfiltered 5 to 6 p.m. with Kyle Cornell. Great show today. Really, really good show, as always. But I enjoyed the conversation that Kyle had with everybody out there tuning in. So if you missed it, go back and check it out on all the socials. And then, of course, Inside Edge Primetime, Chad and I, we are with you 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. on weeknights. And then Midnight Run with Anthony Alford. He is on midnight to 1 a.m. weeknights. Of course, all of our great weekly coverage as well. You just saw Mike Check Day 2 with David Ruiz and Autumn Chisholm. They do a fantastic job. So we appreciate them warming up the arena for us and doing an absolute job. We'll try to do our best to keep up with what they just did. And
Autumn had me on. She had me on Amazon looking for fake beards. I was like, "Can I do that? Is there? I couldn't find one." So
fake beards. I love it. Of course, you got Real Talk with Papa Moon Saturdays 5 p.m. Voice of the Land and Commissioner's Couch. That's on Thursdays from 6 and 7 p.m. Very, very great programming. And of course, we mentioned Main Event everything in between. A lot of great programming. Make sure you stay with Inside Edge Net and check out the website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Chad, I found out some real cool stuff through Midnight Run and Side Hustle yesterday. Side Hustle. Side Hustle. I don't know why I said it like with a little emphasis.
Yeah, you put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable there. That's okay.
But the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast, the owner of Inside Edge Network, Peter Tellep, he actually dropped a promo code. If you go ahead and use the promo code Insider on the InsideEdgeNetwork.com at the merch shop, then you can go ahead and get 20% off of your order right now. We're sweetening the pot to see if we can get 10 purchases. If you get 10 purchases between now and the end of May, I'll let Kyle Cornell from Unfiltered shave my head. We're probably just going to do like a fade or a buzz cut or something because I don't think I have those many hairstyles. And that's what we're going to do live on Unfiltered on June 1st.
Number one all the way around. That's it.
Absolutely. If we get 10 purchases, that's what will happen. So let's see if we can make it happen. And look, I'm a good sport. Let's make it happen, man. I would love to see so many people in Inside Edge Network gear. It would just be amazing to see. So again, the website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com, promo code Insider for 20% off your order. Let's make it happen. All right, Chad, we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we are going to get more into these Cavaliers. Got a few more questions for you about them. Game 7 coming up Sunday. Talk about that and like what we kind of highlight a little bit, but what this team looks like if they lose this game. Yeah, because it could be real different come October again. So we'll take a look at that. We'll talk about the summer because Chad has been, as we all know, if you've been following all week long, talk about his grass. He got after it. He finally got after it. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to talk about some summer stuff. We're feeling the vibes here in Cleveland. It is summertime. If you look at the forecast, it is great. And as Cleveland's digital leader, we're going to talk about that. And of course, we got a lot more to talk about. We have a Friday free-for-all, new segment here on Fridays. We'll talk about that. Chad and I got some things to get off our chest, and we're not holding back. So when we come back, we'll talk some more Cavaliers and so much more. This is Inside Edge Primetime here in the Inside Edge Network. That's Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon, and we're back right after this.
Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to SportsMemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. SportsMemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, which, ladies and gentlemen, would mean he's also to your right. And I'm Eli Moon. And we are back in the saddle, Inside Edge Primetime. We are reacting to the CAVS. Great post-game by Mike Check Day 2, Autumn Chisholm, David Ruiz. A great job as always. We appreciate you. And we're going to keep reacting because the Cavaliers made us mad tonight. I have a Browns jersey on, and Chad, that's very, very uncommon for me to wear a Browns jersey. Yeah, you got Cleveland. You just smart guy.
Listen, there was a brief moment where I thought about ripping this shirt off, like taking this in. But then I'm like, I don't have time to change. Nobody wants to see me without a shirt on, so I kept.
Yeah, would it be very appropriate? Would it be very appropriate at all, Chad?
No.
Come on.
Listen, you thought Jared Allen thought the lights were too bright. I mean, you should see how pale it would be awful here. But that's another story for a different time.
Chad, I gotta tell you this.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Omar. We were talking to Omar, or I was. Mm-hmm. I was talking to Omar, and I'm watching the Cavs.
And I were talking to Omar.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. The Cavs were just getting absolutely whooped on at that point, and he goes, "Oh well, the Guardians aren't doing well either. They were down 6-0 at one point because they're making a comeback." And then I'm on the phone with Omar, getting ready. We're about to jump on here in the next 20 minutes. So about 20 minutes before we got on, and he's like, they just can't get it done. And that just kind of was the night for Cleveland. So that's when I decided to put my Denzel Ward jersey on because Denzel Ward has never let me down. Okay. And I put the Denzel Ward jersey on and I said, you know what? If the Browns have only released a schedule this week, that's the only thing they've done and they did that successful, that's a win. And we're going to count the small wins because right now a win's hard to come by tonight in Cleveland. Yeah. And the Cavs, if you're just tuning in, we're going to react to them, of course, throughout the next segment here before we go to break. Pistons defeat the Cavs 115-94 in Game 6. Series now tied 3-3. We're heading back to Detroit. And Chad, it just seems like the big question again, can the Cavaliers win on the road? Excuse me. I mean, they have won a game on the road, but if you add everything up, they went 0-3 against Toronto on the road. Yeah. They lost the first 2 in Detroit. So that would make them 1-5 in road games.
Is that good?
My math would say that's not good.
That's not.
I know I had to pull out the calculator last night on Midnight Run and break down what $200 could get you. If you missed that, Double A and I, we were on one. But
about 3/4 of a tank of gas now.
Yeah, I did the math. So okay, we're gonna do a little flashback to last night. Double A was talking about how dates nowadays. I know you've been out of the dating game for quite some time.
Yeah.
But dating right now is costing for a first date's about $200. And we were breaking down. I just did the math with Double A about what $200 could get you if you didn't want to spend it on a first date with somebody you may not see after that first date. Again, you know, maybe block you, whatever. It adds up to like 28 Little Caesars pizzas. Okay. I have the math right here. 40 gallons of gas, 10 months of Guardians TV, 6 InsideEdge Network.
28 Little Caesars pizzas?
Yeah.
That's the meat. That goes from hot and ready to hot and sweaty real quick. That's the meat sweats. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, you're good. No, 40 gallons of gas, 10 months of Guardians TV, 28 Little Caesars pizzas, 6 InsideEdge dad hats.
Hey,
I mean, a lot of great stuff.
That would get us almost all the way to an Eli Moon haircut on the. Okay.
No, that literally, 6 purchases right there. I mean, all you need is, come on.
So go on a date. Take your date right to InsideEdgeNetwork.com. And well, I mean, you could even use the QR code right here, and you could buy 6 dad hats together, and that's your date, right? And you got to wait for them to get shipped. So, hey, that's a built-in second date because now you got to go pick up the hats, right? Like,
yeah. Well, hopefully you don't. Wherever you go on your date, you aren't watching Game 7. I hope you give yourself a little bit of peace of mind. You go, okay, I'm not going to watch this because I don't want to be nervous. You know, Papa Moon has his rule now. You know, he's obviously the leader here on the network and the leader here in the city and the state, and we're going nationwide with it, obviously with the Inside Edge Network. Papa Moon leading in mental health conversations. He has taken the time to not watch the end of these games with me sometimes. Okay. If it's close, it's like 8, you know, I guess close as in we're got to come back 8 points down or whatever. He gets up and leaves. He goes, I'm going to bed. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And it's 4 minutes left, 5 minutes left. And the Cavs have made some runs, and he won't do it to himself. And I respect him for that. But, you know, sometimes I'd wish he'd worry it out with me a little bit. You know, it's like it's nerve-wracking watching these guys, and they're 1-5 on the road, Chad. Yeah. I mean, nobody should watch a Game 7 with these Cavs on the road if they're on a date. And, heck, I don't have a date Sunday, but I don't know how I'm going to be able to sit here and watch it. It's just, how are they going to get it done in Detroit?
I don't know. I mean, listen. It's the same thing we've been saying for every other game of the series. Man, I'm so tired. You have to play with some intensity on defense, right? You've got to move your feet. I sound like an old guy, but you do, right? You've got to play with some kind of busy hands, busy feet. You can't turn the ball over 20 times. Can't do it. Gotta stop turning the ball over, man. And I get it. Like, the James Harden, it's a part of his game. It's the turnovers, man. You're gonna get, he is like he's the wrong kind of 20-8 guy, right? I don't want to see 20 points, 8 turnovers. That's not what we're not trying to shoot for a triple-double with turnovers. That's not what we're doing. So you got to stop turning the ball over. And I think the offense just looked, I don't know, everything looked uptight tonight. They just looked scared. They're not scared to go out and play. They just looked nervous, right? They looked like they had to go do something other than play the game of basketball, right? This is what you do. Every guy on that roster, this is what you've done your whole life. You've since think about the days in your driveway as a kid, putting up 50, 200, 300 threes or whatever it is. Yeah, like, I got something here. Like I'm gonna, I'm trying out for the high school team. I might be all right. And then you average like 20, 25 points a game for the high school team, and you were a standout, right? Sometimes more. You go to college and you're a standout there. You don't make it to the NBA unless you're a standout everywhere at every level. It doesn't happen. It's so exclusive, right? So this is what you've done your whole life. This is literally your thing. It's like, when you watch American Idol, we've been talking about American Idol this week and the golden ticket. It's come up a lot. Yeah. It makes me think of the same thing when people would go up there and they'd be nervous to sing. And I'm like, listen, I understand me being nervous to sing, but this is what you do. Like, you're actually good at this, right? Like, go do your thing, man. Who cares about Paula Abdul back in the day or whatever, or Simon Cowell, or whoever's there.
Paula was so nice. You leave for a second. Side note, you leave Paula alone.
Well, that's the thing. You didn't want to disappoint Paula, right? Okay. Like, if you went out there and you trust me. If I went out there on the stage and sang, you would see Paula Abdul be very nice because she would feel like she had to be. It would be an embarrassing moment, or 3 or 4 for me, right? It'd be bad. Trust me. That's why I don't sing in public, man. But I understand me being nervous on stage. But this is what you do. Like, I don't understand these guys looking up tight and scared to. It's like the ball is buttered and it's twice its normal size. And they looked at, that was most of the first half. They looked like they were afraid to attack. They were afraid to, to cut and want the ball. You have that. You can't.
Yeah. Chad, I'm going to be honest with you. Double A brought up a very interesting point yesterday on Midnight Run, and I want to address it here tonight because he said, and I love him, that the Detroit Pistons would look like a team that is absolutely has nothing to lose. They're going to just go after it. They're going to be on the hunt. They're going to try to get the Cavs. They're going to be desperate.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, and I love Double A, and he can call me out later on Midnight Run, put me up on the screen. That's fine. I'll smile and have my Denzel Ward jersey on. The Pistons never looked desperate tonight. They never looked desperate. They looked like a team that was in the saddle, ready to go.
They knew they were going to win.
And they took care of business.
Yeah.
There was no, hey, we have to rile up the Cavaliers and get them out of their zone. There's no, hey, we have to battle back. We had a bad quarter. No, in fact, the Pistons outscored the Cavaliers every single quarter.
And I thought the Cavs actually played pretty well in the first quarter, to be honest with you, despite some of the weird handles issue. I mean, they were still, they were winning that first quarter up until the very, the last 45 seconds or so, the last couple of possessions. And it just went all downhill from there. So I can't say they didn't get off to they got to an okay start. They just really couldn't stop Detroit from doing anything either. It's like they were scoring. They were knocking down some shots, but they weren't stopping Detroit at all.
Correct. And we're no math majors, but obviously you don't outscore any single quarter. You're not going to get it done. And I'm curious to hear what Double A's thoughts are, because that's not anything to do with Double A. I want it to be very clear. That is just, what are you doing if you're the Cavaliers? You let these guys walk into Cleveland. You let them absolutely embarrass you on your home court for the first time this season, in the most important home game of the playoffs so far.
You looked like you didn't care, and you didn't know where second gear was or how to get to it. I mean, it makes no sense. Yeah, it makes no sense. So I'm curious to hear what Double A's thoughts are tonight. I'm curious what he thinks of a Pistons team that just looked calm, collected, and like they've been here before, while the Cavaliers looked like a team that hasn't had a guy that went to the NBA Finals in his career already. Yeah, hasn't had, they don't have a guy that apparently doesn't want to get out of the second round. They don't have guys in the front court that have been called out on their toughness and their physicality. One of the biggest things you can do against a big man's character is call out their toughness and their physicality. Yeah. Yet Evan Mobley and Jared Allen seem quite okay with that. So I'm curious to hear what our bro Double A Anthony Alford has to say at midnight run with Anthony Alford. He'll have some thoughts, and I'm going to be honest. I'm a little nervous. I'm actually a lot nervous. Not for Game 7 at this moment. I'm nervous for what Double A's got to say, because he's probably going to be unhinged. He's probably going to be pissed, and it's going to be a lot of discussion about where this team goes from here. Because if you've heard anything from Double A the last week or so, there's been discussions about what this team looks like. And earlier this week, I said if they get to a New York Knicks series, they're still going to tear it down if they don't get it done. That is a go to the finals or tear it down. Your team will never look the same. And the Cavs are actually trying to shorten that discussion. They're trying to have it right now, this weekend. So I don't understand. I just don't understand how you can let the Pistons walk in here and just be so calm, collected, poised, whatever you want to use. They never looked out of character. They looked like a team that now has won their fourth game facing elimination, which is one of the highest performances for a number one seed. And you can say, well, why do they keep getting in these messes? Who gives a shit, for a lack of better words? If they keep getting out of it, keep getting out of it. Exactly. Yeah.
Who cares, man? They have done everything they need to do to put themselves in a position to win their second Game 7 and go on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Their problem to figure out going forward, not ours. Like our problem as Cavaliers fans is why our team shows no heart, no desire, no passion, nothing. I mean, just flat. And listen, I get some people, maybe they operate better at a steady pace or whatever. It's Kyle with the lower heart rate or whatever. I don't know. But me, I mean, I always played better when I got angry. And I'm looking at Double A. I'm thinking about what he's going to say. I'm thinking about last night. I just hope his neighbors are out, man. I don't want him to get a noise complaint tonight.
I'm going to talk to him later on this week. I think he's on a little vacay, not from the Inside Edge Network. We got a little bit more vacation time in his schedule. I'm going to talk about maybe soundproofing his walls. Yeah. I got this extra soundproofing
on the walls. It'll be nice.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to be pissed. I'm going to be honest with you. That's my plug for this show. I just told you about what I thought about it. That everything Double A said yesterday was the opposite today. And he hates when that shit happens, because that makes him have to come back on air the next day and ask why the Pistons never looked out of character, never looked desperate, and won this game by over 20 points. And I'm going to let you know right now, as the producer of Midnight Run, it's going to get unhinged. It's going to get crazy. We might have to put the technical difficulty screen up at one point. It's going to get unhinged, all right? So stay tuned, midnight. Of course, we're here with you till that time. Inside Edge Primetime. Chad, let's lighten the mood here for a minute, okay? Let's chill for a second. I have very exciting news here on the Inside Edge Network, not CAVS related because they didn't give us anything exciting to talk about tonight, unfortunately. But we've been talking about your grass all week. We've been talking about your grass all week. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know why, but we have. Yeah, we have. That's true.
Okay, and I didn't get a chance. We obviously had a no excuse. I'm not going to make an excuse. I didn't get a chance to load in the short hair picture of me tonight. So stay tuned Monday.
Where is second gear with you, Eli? Do you know, like, why can't you
don't you do that to me?
Short hair picture.
Don't you do that to me?
Come on, man.
So I'll load that. I'll have that in Monday. We'll talk about that Monday. We'll do that in the third segment Monday. So that'll be the final segment Monday. We'll get a look of what I would like Kyle to design my hair to be once we get 10 purchases. We'll see how close he gets.
This is gonna be like one of those books at the salon. You look through, like, I want that haircut. Like listen, that does not fit your face shape. You can't do that. I'm like, no, I want to look like this. Like,
yeah, he's got one.
Do that.
He's got one hairstyle he does. It's called fade. Oh no. Dude, I remember going into the barbershop when I was younger. Or like not the barbershop, like the hair salon. Like my mom took me there. And it was like like one of those books. You open up and you're like, dang, they got so many cool hairstyles. And you get to the barber, and all due respect, all the barbers and the hairstylists, you're not getting anything close to what GQ magazine's got in there. Okay.
I think I walked in there once and I was like, I want this vanilla ice. And they were like, nope. No, don't, nope. And I was like,
they saved you on that one.
The lines, and I wanted to stand up, and they were like, nope.
They saved you on that one, pal.
Yeah, they did. I think I ended up with a mullet or something, but whatever, it's fine. It wasn't the vanilla ice. That's probably good.
Look, so let's just get to it before we get the break here, pal. We got a few minutes where we're up against it, but I gotta take a look. Do you have the grass? Can we take a look at how this grass looks?
Yeah, let's take a look at how my yard looks with short hair. This is proof. That's a small section of my yard. You see the lines. You also see the brush line over there, and it's starting to look.
Okay, let me ask you this.
I pointed the camera down when I took the picture.
Got a few questions. Sorry to interrupt. I just got a few questions.
I got answers.
When you're mowing, oh no, so you got a riding mower, right? So how does that work? So like, do you just like pivot? Like I've never had the luxury of riding, having a riding mower. So what I do is like when I'm using the mower, I like lift it up and then I swing it. Okay. And then I come back the other way. Like explain the process here, because this is like baseball field-esque.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm getting pretty good. I'm getting my lines down. So I used to have a push mower at the old house, right? We had a lot less land and now we have a little more. Yeah. So I had a push mower, and one day I had this project idea. My dad came up to visit, and I was like, "Hey, you got to help me out. I want a yard striper." So we took a PVC pipe and sealed both. We put sand in it first, and then we sealed off both ends or whatever, and we attached it to the back of the push mower, and I had this perfect like striper. I haven't done that with the riding mower yet. It does seem to make its own lines pretty well with just the mower deck or whatever. It's like a 48-inch mower deck, so it's a John Deere. It's a nice riding mower. But what I do is I get to the edges, okay, and I go around once, all the way around the outside, right, once first, and then I go back and forth. And when I get to the lines, I just go to where I've already mowed, and I'll back up over it a little bit, and I'll make sure it looks okay. And then I'll go back around one more time again when I'm done, so it looks kind of cohesive. But yeah, that's how I make the lines. I just make sure I drive straight, and you got to have sometimes you have a Miller Lite or two after you mow. You can't have them before you mow, or else the lines get a little wonky. So you don't want to do that. But
Miller Lite, if you're listening, hey, if you want to, look at this grass. This is literally, you have helped our guy Chad Bryan get his grass to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're listening, you could go ahead and be a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network. So
yeah,
look, Chad, I gotta ask you about what's going on with the cleanup process, bro. There's like clumps of grass.
Yeah, well, that's because I can. Well, okay, and I'll explain that. That's because we've gotten 474 inches of rain from the end of March until the middle of May. It's May 15th right now as we speak. And listen, we're going to get Matt Wentz back on here to explain himself because this is unacceptable. And I was going to text him this week and put in an order. I was going to deliver. I wanted some warm weather delivered, right? But it's coming anyway. So it turns out he's coming through. I didn't even have to order it. So maybe he doesn't have to explain himself. Maybe we'll have him on and we'll thank him. But I don't want to scare him away. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's so the grass clumps that you see there they could be worse. Eli, I've got this. This is my backyard. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mow this grass on the absolute highest possible setting. Like I put the mower deck all the way up as far as it goes. Usually I don't do that in the summer, right? Usually cut it nice and low. It looks great, whatever. It's like a little golf course out there. Not really, but I like to tell myself that. But no, I've got this is on the, and this, it's still clumped like that because the grass is growing so fast. It's cool. It's wet. I can get out there once every 10 days or so. It's not a good mixture. It's just, it's bad news, Eli.
What was the Bryan review? Like, what was the Bryan household review on the grass this time around?
Oh, they were good with it. So sometimes my daughter's, she's like, you got to cut the grass. It's tickling my legs, And I'm like, well, yeah, I know, but just maybe don't go out there, right? Just don't walk.
Just don't go out there.
Yeah, and that's not really acceptable. You can't take so you got to do something, right? So they're happy with it for the most part, but you can see, I mean, it's tough right now, man. It's a tough.
What was King Salad thinking? What was King Salad thinking on this one?
He listen. He just likes to throw the clumps of grass all around, so he doesn't care. He doesn't care if I clean them up or not. He can grab and throw them, and he's happy. He found a bird's nest, and he put a bunch of grass clippings in the bird's nest. He was feeding the birds. I'm like, how would you feel if someone came to our house and just filled it full of grass, right? And he's like, oh yeah, and I really thought about that. But yeah, I was like, leave the birds alone, leave the bird nest alone. So he's not too worried about it. I mean, they appreciate what they can get. I know they're excited because this weekend we're hoping it's going to stop raining. We're going to try to get the trampoline back out. We've got some exciting things going on. Eli.
That's awesome.
Almost summer. It's going to feel really sun. I can't imagine how I am going to melt on Monday when it's 89 degrees with like 5,000% humidity. And we're coming straight from like the mid 50s, right? Like there's no, hey, let's do a month of 70s and then we'll creep up into the, nope. We're going mid 50s right to the 90s. Pretty much.
I love it.
I
love it. Yeah. You can bring it right back to us, but we're going to send it to break here. That was phenomenal. And I got to give you something here that you've been long overdue. You have busted your behind. I'm proud of you. I wanted to be loud and proud. Here we go. So proud of you. I'm so beyond proud of you. And the Bryan household's proud of you. Like you mentioned, everybody, son, daughter, your wife, everybody's proud of you. I'm proud of you. I know Double A's proud of you. I just know it. He's somewhere smiling.
Nice to be acknowledged for all my hard work, to be honest with you. And I feel like I could cry, but I'm afraid that tear would find its way to my yard and then it would just grow. And I'm not going to, I'm holding that back.
The tears would be okay. We would be okay with it because it's okay to cry, but you don't want to be out there cutting that grass. So maybe,
not okay for the grass. Yeah.
Maybe save it for like when you can, catch it, All right. Yeah. All right. We're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we're going to debut a new segment. Oh my goodness. It's Friday free for all. Chad and I got some things to get off our chest, where we let the other just talk for however long they want to talk about some things they want to get off their chest so they feel better. And then we're going to get out of here.
So tell Double A, shut it down. I got 3 hours of no.
So it'll be a 1 a.m. run for Double A. No, I'm kidding. So we'll do Friday free for all when we come back here, and then we'll get out of here, put a bow on this thing, and hand it off the baton to Double A Anthon Alford. He will be unhinged. That is what I have for you. I haven't got the full idea of everything, but I can just tell you he's going to be unhinged. He's going to talk Cavaliers. If you were wondering, they lost tonight, 115-94. Series tied, going to Game 7. The one positive out of this segment, though, Chad's grass is looking excellent. This is Inside Edge Primetime. That's Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. This is the Inside Edge Network. We're back.
That's my grass.
That's his grass. And we're back right after this.
coming up tonight.
Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Maser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Maser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MaserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MaserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your right. I'm Eli Moon. We are back in the saddle for just a few more moments with you before midnight run with Anthon Alford. Gonna be unhinged, gonna be everything you expect and more on a Friday night at midnight here on the Inside Edge Network. Gonna be exciting. I'll be behind the scenes. I'll probably get called on the screen a few times. We will see what he has planned. I'm very excited to hear what he has to say about the Cavaliers. Not excited because of the result, just excited to hear. Just excited to hear I'm excited to be here.
Just appreciate the fact that I can hear.
Yeah, dude, it's gotta be unhinged. It's gotta be unhinged. I just, all right, Chad. Well, let's get a little unhinged ourselves here. We're gonna debut a new segment before we get out of here called Friday Free for All. We'll have graphics soon. Don't worry. This is the trial run, because if you guys don't like it, then we will never bring it back.
We haven't
like it
in the car yet. We don't even know how it handled. We're at the dealership. We're like, that looks nice. We'll take that.
Absolutely. And if you like it, then we will keep it, and we'll get graphics, and maybe we'll get some cool sound for it too. All right. Chad, I'm gonna start off if that's cool with you.
Do it.
We're gonna go ahead and do our Friday Free for All. So I've been thinking about it. You presented this to me. You said, okay, why don't we do a Friday Free for All? I said, what? You said a Friday Free for All. I said, and you said a Friday. I said, okay.
It's not annoying because I was like, you could just read the words, Eli. It's in a text. Yeah, it was weird.
I thought about what I want to talk about, the debut, this segment, and I'm going to talk about the UFC tonight. Okay. I'm a big combat sports guy, not as much as I used to be in terms of knowing all the fighters and knowing what pay-per-views when and knowing this or that. Yeah. But I've covered 4 UFC events. I have Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, and Detroit.
Okay.
And so I've been immersed in combat sports. We've talked about combat sports. I've wrestled but damn near my entire life. So I've always been around combat sports. Yeah, I never find time to sleep. It's so tiring. But I've been around combat sports my entire life. And usually when you think of combat sports, at least in my mind, the guys I grew up around, the coaches I had in wrestling, and the people I looked up to, and the Olympic wrestlers and all these guys had good standards, had good morals, had somebody you could look up to and be like, I want to be like that guy when I grow up. I want to really have those standards.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened in about, I don't know, 10, 15 years we're going on now. I'd say closer to 10. Yeah. But we've been in this real weird standard with the UFC where you don't have to necessarily be a great fighter to get to where you're going to. You can just open your mouth, know the right things that is going to make Dana White pop, and you'll be in a main event. And if you lose, well, we'll just put you up against what some would call a tomato can, for lack of better words. And then you'll get right back to where you're going in the main event scene. If you lose, we'll just continue to do the same thing. Yeah. It's why guys like, respectfully, Sean O'Malley is in the main event scene still. And I know he's a good fighter, but he also has to figure out what hair color Dana White wants him to dye it this weekend and what he has to say. And, we have that going on. And that's literally the smallest of the issues right now. The biggest issue are guys like Josh Hokett and guys like Sean Strickland. Josh Hokett, for those that don't know, is a guy walking around with an American bandana and waving the American flag and has the shades on and is calling out Alex Pereira and being absolutely racist and terrible towards these guys. Ilya Topuria stepping in during the big press conference. They had the UFC promoting some of their fights coming up. Just absolutely terrible. I mean, and he was going to get rocked, let's be real, by Ilya Topuria, who is half of his size. I mean, Topuria was going to put hands to him, and he deserved it because Josh Hokett has said some really, really inconsiderate, disrespectful, disgusting things. And then you look at Sean Strickland, and then the notches go up a few more because he has said some of the most uncalled for shit that, and I apologize for the swearing. I've been a little out of pocket tonight, but it is just literally uncalled for, some of the things he says. So how does the UFC and Dana White reward him? They put him in a middleweight title fight against Khamzat. I'm going to botch his last name, so I'm just going to Khamzat. They get me sometimes. But again, I'm not in touch as much as I used to be with all the fighters. But I am aware that Sean Strickland gets his fight. He goes and wins the middleweight title in a split decision against Khamzat. And it's just, why are we pushing this guy to the moon? Why do we continue to give this guy an opportunity after opportunity? If he was in a 9-to-5 setting, hell, if he was here on the Inside Edge Network, he wouldn't be here because we have standards, we have morals, we have people that are looking up to us, that count on us to really, when we get on these microphones, not say something out of pocket that is going to be hurtful. Yes, we like to have fun. Yes, we like to talk and joke around with each other. And yes, it's a good time. We never step into that zone where these guys are stepping into to sell a fight. And then it's the hugs and the shakes after and all that. It's like, why are we even saying this in the first place? Because these aren't things, I did this thing growing up. I was in chapel or church or whatever. When I was growing up, I was in chapel and I had this setting where they were like, all right, squeeze the toothpaste out. And these people are up there squeezing the toothpaste out. They go, okay, awesome. Now put it back in. And they couldn't put it back in. And it's these words you say are just so hurtful. And I get it. Okay, we're grown adults. We can all say the same, whatever we want to say. But it's like, you got to ask yourself, if you're somebody putting your kid in combat sports right now, in wrestling or boxing or karate or whatever, jujitsu, whatever, do you really want them going through this? Because everybody that is at the top right now is giving you every reason not to because of how they are living and acting. And you got to wonder if it's just from all the punches and the kicks and everything to the head. You got to wonder what it is, but it's uncalled for. And Dana White continues to show his ass because he continues, and this is just my opinion. This isn't Chad, this isn't anybody else, this isn't me. But he continues to show his ass by putting himself connected to a regime that continues to show their ass and not give a care for anybody. So why would he care how these guys are talking? As long as they sell fights and they can continue to roll these fights out wherever they're going and they have them available and they say, yes, Dana, we'll continue to do what you want us to do, then there's not going to be an issue with Dana White having these guys out there. And I'm sick of it. And that's the reason I won't support buying these pay-per-views at $60 a pop or whatever. I know they're doing Paramount for $8.99. I don't give a shit. I will go buy another Little Caesars pizza. To call it back to earlier in the show, I will go buy a Little Caesars pizza. Well, $7 because it's $8.99 for Paramount. But yes, maybe 28 still. Maybe. But I will go buy a Little Caesars pizza and sit here in silence before I go support guys that continue to be assholes. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. We're running a little bit on time, Chad. You go ahead and get your Friday free for all, and then we're going to bring AA Anthony Alford in for Midnight Run. Hey,
mine is short and sweet. It's not nearly anywhere. It's not emotionally charged at all. I'm wondering out loud now. I've been watching it. I told you, Eli, we talked about, we had a little bit of a baseball. We talked about baseball a few weeks ago. Well, really back before the season even started, we had a little bit of a baseball preview. And I told you, I said, I don't remember which show it was on or which episode. I'm on here a lot. But I said, hey, watch for Cal Raleigh. He's going to regress, right? There's a thing in baseball where you regress to the mean. And it's when somebody comes, out of nowhere and has a huge year, right? You don't normally expect them to, unless they've just turned the corner and figured something out. Or started taking some kind of performance-enhancing drug or whatever, they don't normally keep that going. And I said, watch out for Cal Raleigh. I think he's gonna regress to the mean in a kind of a big way. Right now, he's on the IL. He's got an oblique injury, so it's not. I'm not trying to. I'm not throwing shade at the injury. That is what it is. Yeah. But before the injury, even 161, 7 home runs, 18 RBIs, and I've been trying to watch as much as of him taking swings as I can. Trying to watch at bats and things that I can get my hands on or whatever. And I would love to show you video on here, but Major League Baseball doesn't like that. So we can't do that. But I can tell you there is a distinct difference in the way that Cal Raleigh is seeing fastballs, really, from last year to this year. Last year, he ate fastballs up. This year, he's getting thrown 28% more fastballs from the right side, 32% more from the left side. And he can't do a single thing about it, Eli. And I don't know. He's got a big, long swing.
I lost Chad in for a moment.
Oh, am I still here?
We got you back. We got you back, pal.
Okay. I just said this is what teams did to Jason Hayward when he came up with the Braves. He had a big, long swing, right? So what do? You pitch him inside. And he never made the adjustment, right? Jason Hayward was an excellent defensive player, a lot of speed, a lot of talent. But he never really came through on that potential that he showed early on in his career at the plate, right? And this is what I worry about for Cal Raleigh. Yeah, 60 home runs was great. I mean, he set tons of records, right? Most home runs ever hit by a catcher. Most home runs ever hit by a switch hitter. Mickey Mantle broke Mickey Mantle's record of 55 home runs for a switch. That's amazing. Great season, but it could be more of a one-off. I don't think that's who Cal Raleigh is. The big dumper, for some reason, this year on fastballs, taking a big dump.
Not good, Chad. Not so good that Cal Raleigh heard me and muted my mic. Oh, my golly. Oh,
I wondered what was going on. I'm on my own.
Cal Raleigh muted my mic. Yeah, I can't believe him. Yeah. Big dumper. It's not us. It's not us. We're just speaking facts here. That's what we do here, okay? Look.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Look, man. Sorry, bud. All right, look, we got to get out of here. You know what happens? It's past midnight. The Keurig is literally screaming at us. We're going to see if we can bring him up.
That's what we call double A. We call double A the Keurig, by the way.
We call him the Keurig. I love it. I think he's going to – oh, no. I hear it. Okay, we got to get out of here, Chad. This has been Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Make sure, of course, you like, subscribe, follow, all that great stuff. Inside Edge Net. Check out the website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Before we get out of here, we want to remind you, show some love to somebody. Go enjoy some summer heat. It's here. And after station identification, it's here. AA Anthony Alford, Midnight Run. The man has got some things to get some things off his chest. We'll see you in a second.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Midnight Run here on the Inside Edge Network. On this May 16th, it's 12:06. Welcome on in. My producer's the Golden Child, Eli Moon, the Assistant Program Director at the Inside Edge Network. I'm the PD of the Inside Edge Network, and that title is I take great pride in that title because the talent in me is ready to just burst out. Ladies and gentlemen, I know the show in this time slot, and after what happened today, 115-94, Detroit just pulled their pants down and bent over the Cavaliers tonight. I know that I should be yelling and screaming and balls to the wall, all of that. Here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. I did a lot of that between 7 o'clock and 9:30. And now I have the biggest headache ever right now. The neighbors won't have to worry about me today because I think I've let it all out of my system. And this might be worse because this is going to be a methodical beatdown of everything that happened tonight. I mean, there's not a single thing that happened tonight that did not contribute to this headache. I'm talking Donovan Mitchell, which we're going to get to extensively here shortly. I'm talking Mobley. I'm talking James Harden. I'm talking the officiating, Kenny Atkinson's rotations, the announcers. Boy, oh my Lord. My Lord. I don't think I do that great of a job on the CVC TV games, but man, at least I watch the games. Boy, for Detroit, they need to keep their foot on the gas and they might win. Oh, no. Duh. It's only game 6 of the freaking playoffs. We're going to get through this. 1 o'clock can't come soon enough. We'll get through this. We will get through this. As I said, everything about today pissed me off. And to be perfectly honest, I can't even definitively tell you that Detroit played better than us. That's the worst thing about all of this. I will address, actually right now, what Eli said in reaction to the show yesterday. I thought, logically speaking, Cavaliers finally won on the road. Detroit gave up that lead at the end of the game in game 5. The Pistons, a young team, would come in and, nerves would take over. And it would have happened if the Cavaliers would have got off to a strong start and would have kept it going. None of that happened. He's right. Eli's right. None of that happened. Pistons came in, took your lunch money, ate your sandwiches, and stole your girl in front of you and made out with her in front of you. And you clapped with your hands. Had to make that clear. That's what happened tonight. That's what happened. Donovan Mitchell, right now, no disrespect. You're a fine player. You're a phenomenal person. You're a great ambassador to this league. You're a great representative of the city, and I know athletes should not be labeled as role models, but you're as close to that as anybody. So I say this with all due respect. You suck. You suck. I mean, let me pull it up because I want to make sure I'm accurate in the numbers that I'm going to present to you guys because it happened. Donovan Mitchell today, I'll just say this. Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley had 36 points tonight combined. The Pistons bench had 45. Let me add on. Because the national talk is going to be about James Harden. And I'm going to be frank. Honestly, James Harden, if it's not for James Harden even being on the floor, we probably don't even have a chance to win these games. So you know what? I don't have any smoke for James Harden right now. I'm going to be perfectly honest, because James Harden was not brought in to be the number one guy. He was brought in to be a number 2, maybe a number 3. He was not brought in to be the number 1 option. That's Donovan Mitchell's job. That's his job. And today, of course, on my computer screen, I had the whatever. It's been a day. Eli sent it to me. 18 points for Donovan, 6 of 20 from the field. I will add on. Give me 2 seconds here. I will add on top of that, who's the real Donovan Mitchell? Who's the real Donovan Mitchell? Please stand up. Who is the real Donovan? Okay. In the last 2 games, Donovan Mitchell, 13 of 38 from the field. 13 of 38 from the field in the last 2 games. 3 of 14 from downtown. Minus 29 in the plus minus. That means, because you've been hearing a lot about stats about plus minus, what does that do? That means that the Detroit Pistons are 29 points better when he's been on the floor these last 2 games. That is our guy, Donovan Mitchell. And today, Donovan Mitchell, 6 of 20, 18 points. Only 1 point higher than Paul Reed of Detroit coming off the bench, putting up 17 points. Donovan sucks. I don't want to. He has 1 game. Let me tell you the importance of Game 7. Let me tell you what the Cavaliers have done. Let me tell you how bad this is going to be, how much of a bloodbath we're in right now. And if these guys don't wake up, they'll all be gone. All of them will be gone. Okay? This is how bad this is. You lose here in Game 6. You go to Game 7. You lose in Game 7. For the 3rd year in a row, you're bounced in round 2. And for the 4th year in a row, you fall well short of playoff expectations. So, and you do it in a year where you don't have to face Boston. You do it in a year where, since you didn't make it to the conference finals, you didn't face New York. And you do it in a year where where you're not facing Tyrese Halliburton. Like, this is honestly the weakest the Eastern Conference will be for the next several years. And you have the most expensive roster in the NBA. So you got to start chopping. James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, you're having a real conversation about his role. You're having a real conversation. And I would like to think, okay, maybe Donovan Mitchell could accept being a number 2 or number 3, if Giannis comes to town or LeBron comes to town. But let's be real. At one location, probably not the case. And then you're looking at your front court. You got to make a decision between Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. You're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a call on what you can do with those guys. And then the more uncomfortable conversation, Kenny Atkinson. You brought in Kenny Atkinson to get past the second round, but you're going to lose to the head coach that you let go in his city. See why I have a headache? You see why? Here's the truth, though, too. Here's the truth. And next segment, we'll play some sound for you next segment. Here's the truth. And real quick, San Antonio officially got the W over Minnesota. They closed the series, which means we will be on the air for main event at 10:30 on Sunday night. Myself, Eli Moon, Rob Rosicki, following Game 7 of CAVS Pistons. The fact that we got to be on that late already irritates me. And on a Sunday night, during my vacation, we got to be on that late. And we got to be on that late for another Game 7 for a reason where we should not be competing in a Game 7 in the first place. But we'll be here 10:30 to 8 in the morning. We'll have main event. We'll see what happens. Cavaliers can't hit shots. There's no other creative way we could talk about this. Donovan Mitchell's open. James Harden's open. Evan Mobley's open. Sam Merrill's open. Dean Wade is open. Dennis Schroeder, 15 minutes, 0 effing points off the bench. He was open all night. He did more complaining to the officials than making shots. Dean Wade, by the way, 3 points. Not a single D Wade was productive tonight. Not our Dean Wade on the floor, and Dwayne Wade was just as bad on commentary. Unreal. Pistons didn't have that great of a shooting night, but 52% from the field. We only shot 39% from the field. Only 39%. We shot 34% from 3. Offensive rebounds, for once, we actually had more offensive rebounds than Detroit. We had 16. They only had 13. But Detroit had 48 points in the paint. And we couldn't do anything to convert those offensive rebounds really into points. Detroit had a 21-4 run at the end of the first quarter. Going into the second quarter, Cleveland closed the gap, got it to a 54-51 halftime split with Detroit leading. And then the game coming out of the second half, or coming into the third quarter, rather, Detroit went on a 14-4 run. And we had no answers. There was a point in the fourth quarter where finally we were making some shots, but then we were just trading baskets. We couldn't lock anybody down defensively. We gave up too many coast-to-coast situations. James Harden in the fourth quarter from downtown was flopping. And then he flopped and missed the three-pointer. And then by sheer magic, I think it was Dean Wade, slipped at that same spot, and Detroit went all the way down the floor and scored. The magic of what we're doing. Unreal. Well, when we come back from break, you're going to hear from the players as to why they couldn't make shots. There's nothing more creative than that. Couldn't make shots. We'll be right back.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick. With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh. I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Yeah, it's super important. It's a, vital possession in the NBA. Excuse me. Being able to score off the offensive rebound quickly and find shooters. They did a great job tonight. They hit some daggers. We cut the lead, cut it down and, long miss, offensive rebound, they find a window, three ball. So some were bad bounces. Some we got to do a better job of coming up with the ball.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Welcome back to the show. Cavaliers got their behind speed tonight. That's the final score. I'm not even going to give you the number, but they got their behind speed. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow at InsideEdgeNet. That was courtesy of NBA Media. Also, RealCavsFans.com. That Twitter account, they've been doing an awesome job cutting up pressers and things like that. Seriously, thank you for that. All of that. And RealCavsFans.com actually tweeted this about Donovan Mitchell. In the two lowest point total games this postseason by Donovan Mitchell. So 2 games where Donovan Mitchell had his lowest point totals in the playoffs. 15 points and 18 points. Cavaliers lost both games by 20-plus points. So ineffective. And that's the, I know the national media is going to get all, they're going to talk about James Harden. And James Harden is going to be worth a national conversation. It's like, oh, James Harden has to do this. He has to do that. I think Kenny Jess Smith on First Take earlier pretty much said it right. Like, James Harden is going to the Hall of Fame. It's just the script about James Harden is a bit different depending on how things turn out here in Cleveland. But his run here in Cleveland is really just a footnote in the 17-year career of James Harden. Unless James Harden can lead the Cavs to the NBA Finals and NBA Championship, I don't think people's opinion about James Harden is going to change, but he has the resume. Donovan is different. Donovan is way different because Donovan is still young. I mean, I know he's been around for a long time, but he's still young. He's still, 29 years old, I believe. He couldn't get out of this point with Utah. He had issues with Rudy Gobert. And now we're 4 years in. And if he's only putting up 18 points tonight, only going 6 for 20 in a closeout game. I mean, where's the sense of urgency? I mean, what? You know what? Why am I even asking? I guess that's where I'm at. Why am I even asking? Oh, we want the Cavaliers to be more mentally tough, be more aware. Why? Why am I even wasting my time? This is who they are. This is who they are. They're going to show up on Sunday, and the only, out of all the starters out of all the starters, Evan Mobley, I'm not going to throw shade at Evan Mobley completely. Evan Mobley has elevated himself since that pitiful Game 2 performance. He has. So I want to give credit there. Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if Jared Allen repeats his performance in Game 7 like he did the last Game 7, I think that's the only way we're going to the conference finals. Honestly, it's Jared Allen or bust. I can't believe I'm saying it. It's Jared Allen or bust. Because everybody else, again, maybe for the lone exception of Evan Mobley, everybody else, this is who they are. I can't tell these guys to get more mentally tough. I can't tell these guys to go after loose balls. I can't tell these guys to make shots. They're left wide open. Can't make them. Floaters. Can't make them. Putbacks. Can't make them. Open three-pointers. Can't make them. But Paul Reed, who was an intern, can come off the bench and hit shots and put up 17 points. What are we doing? What are we doing? Matter of fact, let's hear from James Harden. Did the Cavaliers come out with the right level of intensity? What do you think, James Harden?
Nope, not at all. No, not at all.
Can you elaborate as to maybe why it wasn't there, considering this was a chance to clinch and go to the Eastern Conference Finals?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I think we didn't start off the game well. Still had the lead, and then just throughout the course of the game, we never really kicked to that second level, or even second level, which is the level we need to get us 3 or 4, but we just never really got it to that level. We had opportunities, little small spurts, but it was never like a consistent flow on both ends of the ball, which is a little frustrating, but you can't do nothing about it. You gotta start focusing, getting our mind for one game on the road.
Yeah, it's only Game 6. We'll eventually come. You know what? Maybe when we play in Game 12 of the Cavaliers and Pistons, maybe we'll come around and take this serious. Who knows? You're right there, 54-51 halftime deficit. Donovan Mitchell, what did you make of the Pistons' 10-1 run to start the third quarter?
Force. Simple as that. And to James's point, that's what's upsetting. But it starts with all of us. It starts with that first group. When we got hit in the mouth, we didn't punch back. And we have throughout the course of this playoffs. And tonight we didn't do that. And we got to go do that on Sunday.
Boy, that's convenient. We got to do it on Sunday. That's cool. I didn't turn my homework in. I'll get to it. I didn't make that play. That's okay. We'll get to it on Sunday. We're right there, boys. Right there. I'll get right on it. That's okay. I know we didn't have that force, but we're right there. Right there. It's disappointing. The reason, and people are like, well, how come that, honestly, and this is where now I'm going to need Eli on the screen here, because honestly, this is why the reaction I got on Facebook from the last game pissed me off. Yeah. Because everything I mentioned in that game happened tonight. And when I say, oh, how come you said that they won the game? They didn't win the championship. You still got to play more games. Just because you played well, let's put the last game into perspective.
Yeah.
Eli, you want me to be real?
Yeah.
Let's be real and unhinged. You were getting your ass kicked until the final 2 minutes and 43 seconds of Game 5. You could have been going home tonight.
Yeah. No, Double, you're spot on. It's frustrating, right? Because we know what this Cavs team, or at least we keep telling ourselves that we know what this Cavs team is capable of. But here's the reality. This is probably what they're capable of, AA. I mean, I hate saying it like that, but I obviously, after the 2 games in Detroit, said this series is over. Cavs season's over. And they almost made me look foolish. They won 3 in a row. They're all the momentum going into tonight, and this is what you get. This is what you get out of Donovan Mitchell. This is what you get out of James Harden. And I get Harden had 23. I get it. 6 of 13 from the floor. And there's Omar chiming in. Obviously, we appreciate you tuning in, our bro. But yes, embarrassing. You look at this. Why can't we get another 5 to 7 points out of James Harden? Isn't that why we brought him in and traded Darius Garland, one of the younger guys on this team, for him? Why can't Donovan Mitchell, and that's a bigger question, why can't he understand the moment? Well, it's because, AA, you already went over it on the show last week. He doesn't feel pressure. There is no pressure.
Yeah.
If he loses, he does not have any pressure. AA, he is going to get to go on his beach, wherever he's at, with Coco Jones, and they're going to enjoy their offseason, AA, and you're going to continue to get gray hair, and I'm sorry to call you out, but stressing over Donovan Mitchell is going to make you more gray hair, buddy. I mean, this is just who he is. He's spot on in the first segment. He is a nice guy, a role model for as close as an athlete can be a role model. He is everything you want in a community leader. He's pretty cool during the regular season. He'll hit some nice dunks and, have some moments. But this is the ultimate end result with any Donovan Mitchell-led team in the playoffs. It happened in Utah, and we tried to convince ourselves it was Utah that was the issue. I don't think Utah's the issue because Rudy Gobert is doing the same thing in Minnesota. Sure, he has some great games, but he's absolutely a second round, maybe get to the Western Conference Finals here and there. That's the type of energy that Rudy Gobert gives. And Donovan Mitchell, it made sense why they were teammates for so long because he's the exact same way, just in a guard form. He is a second round guy. He is a B+ player. It's just disappointing because where do you go from here? You have the 20, I think you're going to have the 28th pick, if not, in that 20 range if you're the Cavaliers. So unless you straight gold like Jalen Tyson again, you're not getting somebody that's super impactful. If you're LeBron James, why would you come here when you don't even know who you're playing with? If you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, what are the selling points on a team without Donovan Mitchell? But at this point, why would you want Donovan Mitchell on the team if you're Dan Gilbert, if you're Colby Altman? Why would you want to keep doing this song and dance? AA, it might be a construction zone very, very soon in Independence or the new facility downtown because the Cavaliers are going to have a completely new makeup, a new roster, the social media team, the graphics team in the arena. They're going to have to do a lot of work this offseason because there's going to be a lot of new faces.
Let me ask you this. Take the contracts out.
Yeah.
Just strip away the contracts. Let's talk about the players. And, you got age, but just talk about the players.
Mm.
Who would you rather build your team around if you were inching close to contending for a title right now?
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell or James Harden?
Dang.
Contracts.
Yeah, I know. I guess right now, James Harden's at least been to a finals. He's at least been in the conference finals. It's not pretty. And that's the thing that, on a side note, that scares me is we're going into Game 7 James Harden on Sunday. And we know what that looks like typically.
You know what, though? Game 7 James Harden at least tries. Game 6, 7 James Harden. Game 6 Donovan Mitchell might as well be sitting next to me doing the show.
Yeah, that's fair.
Game 6 Donovan Mitchell doesn't even belong on the floor.
Yeah, at this point, the only guy I'd probably keep on this team is Jared Allen. That is the only guy I'd keep on this team if they lose this game. And I know Jared Allen has his flaws.
I'm sorry, real quick. If it wasn't for Jared Allen, we wouldn't even be in this round.
Right, exactly, Double. And he has his flaws and he has his moments. But if all we can, we are so hard on Jared Allen and Evan Mobley because the two main guys don't step up on a consistent basis. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. If we had these superstar players doing what superstar players do, we wouldn't be begging for Jared Allen to get 22 to 25 points. We wouldn't be begging for Evan Mobley to have an all-around impressive Victor Wembanyama game. We don't need Evan Mobley to be Victor Wembanyama when you have a guy who's on every commercial the NBA wants to put out all season long and a guy who was in the finals at one point. So I just think we're asking a lot out of the guys. We can't sit here, and not us specifically, but as fans, as media, as whatever, as talking heads, we can't sit here and go, well, Max Strus had a bad game tonight. Yes, Max Strus, 2 of 9 tonight, 6 points. It shouldn't fall on Max Strus. He's 3 months back from an injury. Why are we having this discussion?
He's a role player.
We wouldn't be having this discussion. San Antonio wouldn't be like, well, they play OKC in the Western Conference Finals. Imagine how silly it would sound for San Antonio to go, well, we would have played really well if Keldon Johnson would have just held up his end of the bar. 6-man player of the year. If he would have did it, or, Vassell, if these guys, Devin Vassell, they would have held up their end, we'd be okay. No, if they lose this series against OKC and Victor Wembanyama doesn't do what Victor Wembanyama does, it's going to fall back on him, and it's going to fall back on Stephon Castle and throw Dylan Harper in there as well. It's going to fall back on their stars. So why? Why do we continue, and not us, I'm not trying to call us out, but we are guilty of it too. We sit here sometimes and go, Jared Allen needs to step up. Evan Mobley needs to step up. And they do. We want them to. But if Donovan Mitchell gets you 18 and James Harden gets you 23 in a game 6, then we're screwed. We are screwed. We're about as screwed as somebody with a boat that has 18 holes in it, and we don't have a paddle. We're screwed.
You were just speaking gospel there. You were just speaking gospel. If you don't know about the Donovan Mitchell pressure thing, I'll read it to you in the third segment. But let me just say this real quick, because I think you're spot on with everything, right? And it's like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, those are the only 2 players that's actually growing as players. Like, that's the other thing. James Harden's 17 years into this. What you get with James Harden is what you're going to get. That's it. Mm-hmm. But Donovan Mitchell, where has he elevated himself in terms of his game since he's arrived here in Cleveland on a day-in, day-out basis? Yeah. And then my second question, because I was thinking about this as the game went on tonight, really throughout this series and really throughout these playoffs. All right, when I watched Detroit, I know, all right, Cade Cunningham's going to have an impact on the game. And things are going to run through Cade Cunningham. And I watch most of these other teams, their top player, I know, is either going to be the leading scorer or the second leading scorer every night. When we're down, we're about to play our 14th playoff game. I still don't know, when times are tough, who do we hand the ball off to try to get us back in? I can't give you a single answer, and we are about to play our 14th playoff game.
Yeah, Double A. There's a reason I put the Denzel Ward jersey on tonight, and it's very rare to wear a Cleveland Browns jersey and feel like you're wearing the best team in Cleveland. But the Guardians got that ass whooped tonight. The Cavs got that ass whooped tonight. I mean, my goodness gracious. I just don't know where
kudos to the Monsters, at least.
Yes, the Monsters over the Marlies. Yes.
Kudos to the Monsters.
Yes, love it. I love it. And that's the one bright spot in the Browns. They released a cool schedule release. So you know what? We have a few positives going into the weekend. It's gonna be sunny on this weekend. That's the positives. But
by the way, was Chad correct about Monday's forecast?
Oh yeah, it's like 87 to 89 degrees. I think I'll check during the break and give you an update. But yeah, I think it's like 84 to 80. Yeah, it's gonna be hot, Double A. It's gonna be your favorite season.
I got a good preview of that season today. I was doing laundry, and Bedford's Finest was out and about here today. I got to show you something else real quick. It'll take 2 seconds, but the only reason why I'm happy today because this came in the mail today.
Absolutely. My Double A's great. Oh, he's so quick with that. I was about to have to read. Look at
Here that. It is. Look at that. My brand new Alley Rose fragrance candles. These are the mini candles. So I got one for my office here for the studio, and I got another one for my bedroom. And these candles are fantastic. They smell phenomenal. This is the Autumn Day candle that you can get from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And they smell fantastic. And you see how wide it is, and you see the tip there. So it's not just sucking in the middle of the candle and it's gone in 2 days. Like, this is going to last. This is going to last, and it smells phenomenal. This is great stuff. If you're a first-time customer, use that promo code. You see it there, InsideEdge20, when you go to AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Not only do they have candles, but they also have body mist as well. So you got a significant other, you got that special someone, you got birthdays coming up, get them the body mist. But every person should get one of these candles from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. We'll take a quick break. Donovan Mitchell on pressure. I think that's a key point that Eli brought up. I want to bring that back in just a little bit. And then we'll quickly do Unpack Fridays in there too. Game 7. It's going to happen. We'll take a break. Make sure you get these candles. They're fantastic. Back after this.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife, Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Bryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at monstermomentsphotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. monstermomentsphotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Hey guys, Kyle here from Unfiltered. What a show today. Broke down, obviously, the situation with North Royalton, the officer that's suing the city, the former officer now. Crazy story involving the police department. Also, that plane crash in Akron. Unbelievable situation. Again, feel for the two pilots that lost their lives. The family able to get out of that house safely. Crazy to think about. Hey, on Monday, let's shift a little bit. Are we talking about the CAVS? Are they moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals? What's going on in the local news? You'll find out right here on Unfiltered, 5 o'clock Monday. I will see you then here on the Inside Edge Network.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthon Alford.
All right, it is our sprint to the finish line here with you until 1 o'clock. We thank you for joining us here on Midnight Run. A couple housekeeping notes here for you. InsideEdgeNetwork.com, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. You want to check out our website for all of our show bios, personality profiles, get links to our partners. And we have a merch shop that's there. And here's the cool thing. You just saw Kyle. You've been, obviously you see Eli here every night. If we get 10 buys on the merch store, Kyle Cordell will damage Eli's hair. I'm sorry, cut Eli's hair live on the air on Unfiltered, which you can watch weekdays from 5 to 6. Use the promo code INSIDER. I believe you get 20% off of your order. So that's a lot of fun stuff there at InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Also, again, like, subscribe at InsideEdgeNet. We're on all the socials, basically. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all that stuff. We are there at Inside Edge Net. Also, we told you before, the San Antonio Spurs wrapped up their series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Huge blowout. So we have for you here, this is the schedule for the Western Conference Finals starting on Monday. And again, they play every other day. So even though the ticker is covering up Game 7, is Saturday, May 30th. So again, every other day starting Monday, May 18th. OKC and San Antonio. It's going to be a great series. Great series. Probably two of the favorites to win the championship. The Spurs, actually, I believe they've won 3 out of 4 against OKC in the regular season. So OKC has proven to beat everyone except the Spurs. So Monday night, that series will get going. All games are on NBC and Peacock. Meanwhile, we still got business to take care of here in the Eastern Conference. Oh, sorry, wrong graphic. There it is. Games. Okay. Oh, hell, why not? Okay, Game 7, Sunday night. There they are, Donovan Mitchell and Cade Cunningham, Cavaliers and Pistons. Game 7 on Prime. And we'll be on the air here on the Inside Edge Network immediately after the game. Myself, Rob Rosicki, Eli Moon for the main event. Coming up at about 10:30. We'll be on the air for that. There was like seemingly 3,000 scheduling scenarios. And because how everything else fell was the latest one. Because of that, let's say the Cavs, hopefully the Cavs do win. Hopefully they get the W. If they win, Cavs-Knicks game 1 will be on Tuesday night. All the games will be on ESPN. ABC might have a game, but ESPN will have most of the games. And again, every other night. So it's going to be the same deal. Tired legs. And Cavs and Pistons. Pistons, Pistons also played a game 7 in the first round. They played against Orlando. They came back from a 3-1 deficit. So this is one of the unique. I would have to go back and check and do a little homework. I can't recall 2 teams playing 2 consecutive Game 7s in the first round or in the first 2 rounds of the NBA playoffs. It just doesn't happen. And again, both teams, dead legs. Meanwhile, the Knicks are just chilling. And again, they're assuming they're just going to go to the finals. But we'll see. But, yeah, that's coming up. And one quick thing, and then I'll get to Mitchell and the pressure thing. Because the game's on Prime, there are some bars who don't have access to the commercial broadcast. Remember, with bars, and we've learned about this with streaming and the NFL schedule that Eli, Omar, TK, and Chad talked about. You kind of see it, the increasing number of streaming games, including a Netflix Thanksgiving Eve game. You got all that going on. A bar owner is not allowed to just show up to their bar, plug in their Fire Stick, and play their Amazon Prime account or a Peacock or a Netflix account. You need a commercial license to do most of that. And some of your local bars don't have that. So a lot of people are watching these games from home instead of being able to go to their local establishment, because you may not know whether or not your local establishment is airing the game. Like, they don't have an issue getting the Guardians game. They don't have an issue playing ESPN. But a game on Prime Video, that might be troublesome. So be mindful of that Sunday. You might want to call ahead to your favorite establishment on Sunday and check and see if they're going to be airing the game. Again, Sunday night, 8 o'clock on Prime Video, Cavs and Pistons. Eli, for the final 3 minutes, I want you on the screen with me because you brought this point up, and we talked about this after Game 2. The ESPN article, Donovan Mitchell talking about pressure. I'll read the quote real quick in case people missed it. This was after Game 2. He was talking with ESPN, Donovan Mitchell, and he talked about pressure. And he said, I've been here before. The pressure is really not, I don't feel it. This isn't pressure. Getting your next meal is pressure. Where I'm going to live, that's pressure. This is an opportunity. This is fun. And on the base surface, honestly, it's a terrible answer. Like, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to envision, and honestly, this might be, again, where the mental health aspect of what we do may come into play here. when you're younger, you don't have necessarily perhaps the life-altering life experience that could provide that hunger, right? And I think that, honestly, again, I'm not rooting for the Cavaliers to lose. I'm a fan. I want them to win because if they lose, this rebuild might be long. And it would be painful. But I can't help but think, Eli, if they do lose on Sunday and there's a rude awakening from a basketball standpoint, that maybe his mentality, because he has the most room to grow as a player, his mentality, and maybe some of the others, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, others, all right, we let an opportunity, like what Eminem said, sweaty palms, we let an opportunity slip away, and dang, we were right there, and we didn't capitalize, and maybe 5-10 years from now, they may look back and say, 2016, we had an opportunity and we blew it, and we've never been able to get back.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a double A, even if you don't feel pressure, it's like, if this is how you treat opportunities, maybe we shouldn't be giving Donovan Mitchell any more opportunities. I mean, if that's what it is, imagine somebody that gets an opportunity at their 9 to 5. Hey, you're going to be promoted. Imagine somebody that gets an opportunity to be a parent, gets an opportunity to raise somebody. And those are some really pretty serious things. Imagine somebody that gets an opportunity to buy their first home after not being able to hold down an apartment for years. Imagine somebody that has just gone through it all and what they would do with that opportunity. Imagine somebody that has never got the opportunity to play in the NBA. And I know it's like, well, they're there because they're better than us at basketball. Clearly, that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why they're doing what they're doing. But imagine somebody that actually got an opportunity to go out there and they told them, hey, you can go win an NBA championship. And it seems like with the modern NBA, and that's probably a discussion we can have throughout the next few weeks or whatever, have you throughout prime time, midnight run, whatever. But I think that's a discussion to have. I love the NBA. I love the players in it. I think there's a lot of great faces of the league. But it seems like there's just, and I'm not trying to be old man with it, but too much buddy of, well, we'll figure it out. I'll get there because I have like 15 years to at least get one. And now it seems like one NBA championship is now the norm. If I get one, I'll be heralded forever. What happened to wanting to go win 4, 5, 6 chips? LeBron James, Miami Heat, not 4, not 5, not 6. I know they didn't get there, but that was the goal. Michael Jordan, he didn't stop after 1. Kobe Bryant didn't stop after 1. So it's like, we're heralding guys like, a guy we talk about all the time coming to Cleveland, Giannis, and I know he's a great player, but he has 1 championship. And we treat him like he's won 5 or 6 NBA championships. You look at...
And you're hearing reports, too. And by the way, we didn't forget this. We'll talk about it next week. Yeah. We're hearing reports that he's late to meetings and stuff like that. It ain't cool with me.
Yeah.
That's not cool with me at all.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to talk about it a little bit on prime time as well. Just like, what would you want? Why would you want to bring that here? It's just so much confusion right now for me. I just don't understand. Does Donovan Mitchell want this opportunity or not? Because if not, we'll find somebody that wants the opportunity. I guess we'll have to sit through 23-win basketball again and 19-win basketball seasons, and it'll suck. But if there's anything this front office has proven, they at least can put the core together. Can they get to the championship? That remains to be seen. But this alteration of this core, this iteration, whatever you want to call it, is done. If Sunday night, the final score is whatever, Detroit has 1 more basket than us, it's over. You might as well take your Donovan Mitchell jersey, try to sell it at the highest point you can, because that is the last time that Cavs jersey will be worn by Donovan Mitchell, more than likely. I know there's a small chance he could come back, but why would you bring back somebody who doesn't feel pressure, doesn't really treat opportunities like they are opportunities, and can't get out of the second round?
And he hasn't improved as a player.
Yeah, he's still the same scorer. That's what you can tell about Donovan Mitchell. He scores very well, and he's electric and athletic. Okay, that's great. There's a lot of guys that are electric, athletic, and can score pretty well in the NBA that don't win championships. We have seen that formula happen. There's not many scorers in this modern day that are leading an NBA team. You have to be well-rounded. The Kawhi Leonards of the world, I know we give Kawhi a lot of shit, but Kawhi, when he is playing basketball and actually consistently wanting to play basketball, he's one of the best players. Why? Because he brings it on both ends of the floor. It impacts the game many ways. Giannis, we just talked about him. He impacts the game many ways. LeBron James impacts the game many ways. Donovan, well, he can score pretty well and he's athletic and he'll hit a nice dunk. What else can you do for us when you're a liability on defense? You don't pass the ball very well. You have no chemistry right now with any of your teammates. And it takes, to be real with you, I know we're out of time here, but he's taking a step back on offense. He
Yes,
doesn't
he has.
drive. He doesn't dunk the ball anymore. He settles. Chad Bryan brought up a great point on primetime.
He missed the dunk when he had an opportunity. He missed the dunk, went back the other way, gave up a score there, and then missed the layup, missed the floater, back-to-back possessions.
Yeah, it looks like, some of his offense is like me playing 2K when I can't get anything to fall. Dribble, step back three, miss it. Now an outlet to the other team, and they're going to go get another basket. And how much longer are we going to keep putting up with that?
And then Autumn brought up one of the best points, and it stuck with me the entire playoffs. When Donovan's not able to get going, it almost like he derails the offense because he tries to force himself to get going, so he overcompensates and disrupts the flow of the offense. You almost sit there as a fan. You're just like, you know what? F it. Let James Harden. At least with James Harden, and he settled down with the turnovers. It's not as bad as it was early on. At least with James Harden, it's somewhat stable, and at least we can get somewhere with James Harden running the floor. But James Harden was not brought in to be the number one. He wasn't. But, okay, let me ask you real quick, and we're done. We've been on the air here at the network for we're in month 9 now.
Yeah.
Sunday. Let's talk about Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, every sports fan should watch Real Talk with Papa Moon tomorrow afternoon, 5:00, because you need to get your mental health in order.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching because we're going to have to check ourselves before Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm worried about Sunday. I am extreme. Sunday is.
It's going to be bad.
Let's hope they win. Please win, Cavs. Because if they lose on Sunday, 9 months in, that show Sunday night, us two and Rob, that will be an utter bloodbath.
Yeah. It's going to be rough. It's going to be absolutely rough. It's going to be bad. I think it's going to be bad even if we win, because this team, now you got to stumble into New York. I mean, but obviously the ideal is they win AA. You are correct. Real Talk with Papa Moon Saturday is going to be very good. We have Omar actually from the network sitting down with them, so it'll be a really good episode. And I advise everybody to watch and feel good about your mental health. And that's very important. We don't take that for granted. We want you to make sure you take care of yourself. And I want to remind you, Game 7 is going to be absolutely a roller coaster, whether the Cavs win or not. Don't allow it to completely disrupt your day. I know AA's got the biggest headache in the world right now. Don't let it disrupt your entire day, because here's the reality, guys and girls and everybody out there. The Cavs don't feel pressure. So why should you feel pressure going into your Sunday Game 7, worrying, biting your nails? Oh my goodness, the pizza's late. Oh my goodness. Don't feel pressure. Allow them. It's like this. I've been given a lot of analogies in the dating world recently.
Yes, you have.
am the love guru, apparently. Yes. But it's like this. If you keep giving the effort, us as fans, we're in a relationship with the Cavaliers. We keep giving effort. We keep reaching out first. Come on, Cavs. You got to want it. Come on, Cavs, please. You know, we brought a pizza this time. I got my friends over to watch you. And they just keep embarrassing you and keep doing the same stuff and go, look, I'm not really worried about this. I'm just trying to live my free spirit era. I've heard that one before. My free spirit. I'm a free spirit. Well, then they could be a free spirit, but you should be a free spirit too. Don't allow yourself to let them ruin your day. We want them to win, yes. Will they? We don't know. But we do know one thing. Game 7 is going to be a roller coaster. So take care of yourself. At halftime, walk outside in Cleveland. It's going to be a nice day. It's going to be like 70s, in the 70s. Walk outside and breathe, because I'm telling you, if they lose, we'll all breathe it in together. We'll be pissed for a few hours. We will get after it. I promise you. If you've never seen Rob, AA, and I all mad at the same time, it gets a little rough. So make sure you stay locked in here at the Inside Edge Network, Inside Edge Net. It's gonna get rough. But yeah, Saturday first.
This is not gonna be, and this is not gonna just be on the backdrop of, boy, they played horrible, but it's the Cleveland Browns, so we get it. This should not happen.
Yeah.
You're the most disappointing team in this modern era of the NBA.
Yeah. We're not even talking about the Guardians at that point. Guardians are off the hook for a little bit if the Cavs do this. Guardians, well, nobody's talking about them blowing the wild card series after the 15.5 game comeback. I mean, nobody will be talking about that AA. They will be back in the clear. It'll be everybody in this city will shift their focus to, well, can the Guardians get it done this year? Because they're still playing guards ball. They're going to be competitive. It's the AL Central. The Cavs will become an afterthought. They are playing a dangerous game because, as you see, I'm wearing my Browns jersey. The Browns will always be front and center. This team will always be front and center. We can sit here and dissect why not, why not the Cavs. But this is the reason why. The Cavs have had a really important chance here in the last 10 years. After winning that title in 2016, to really pile it on, put on a few more championships, put it to the point where, well, now the Cavs have 2, 3, 4 championships in this last 10, 11-year run. So now they are in the focal point because they've done it. I've seen it with teams. I've seen it in other cities where a team is overtaking a team. It's taken a lot, but it happens. And the Cavaliers have dropped the ball. They have absolutely dropped the ball and tried to become in front of the spotlight. And, we thought attendance was bad at times. We thought, the team was bad at times. Well, that could become a reality in about, let's see, Sunday night, by Monday morning.
48 hours. Dan Gilbert will be in Detroit. He will do his part. He'll bus season ticket holders, get them to Detroit. You got all day to get there. You guys enjoy the weekend. Get some rest, or it's 1 something in the morning. Whatever you do on Friday night, do it. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your Sunday because they don't play till 8 o'clock. So enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys Sunday night. That's all I got.